Chapter 15. Xiong Tianyin has 5 major identities. First, a half-awakened soul expert. Second, a famous alchemist. Third, Tian'an City's Alchemist Guild's managing elder. Fourth, Tian'an City's General House's General Xiong Bing's younger brother. Fifth, Tian'an City's Alchemy Market's major shareholder, owning many channels and industries. Which one of these 5 identities doesn't make people admire and worship him? After Nanyan commerce was reduced to a second-rate commerce, there was no chance for them to climb up to a high branch like Xiong Tianyin. Now, Xiong Tianyin personally came to their door and unexpectedly announced that he wanted to worship Meng Yingying as his master. How could Meng Qingwu not be shocked? Unimaginable. Unbelievable. If Nanyan commerce had Xiong Tianyin as an umbrella, would her enemies dare to openly deal with her? This shocking decision was actually made by Xiong Tianyin after careful consideration. Chu Tian is a true expert. Since Chu Tian doesn't accept disciples, why not take a roundabout strategy and worship Meng Yingying as his master? From Meng Yingying, he can learn Chu Tian's knowledge. A true alchemist fanatic, for the sake of learning more profound alchemy, what is this little bit of face? If others understand, but you don't, then it's worth learning. This is Xiong Tianyin style. Not to mention, Meng Yingying is young, at the peak of the 4th rank of body refinement. If you really want to compare her talent, she is definitely not worse than Xiong Tianyin. Meng Qingwu tactfully probed. Meng family is a small family, and Elder Xiong is a famous person. Wouldn't doing this be detrimental to his reputation? Moreover, Meng Yingying's ability, how could I not know? She doesn't even have the qualifications to be Elder Xiong's disciple. Xiong Tianyin slammed the table. You women are so wishy-washy. I, Xiong Tianyin, will say this here. If I can't become your disciple today, I, Xiong Tianyin, will not leave this place. Meng Qingwu was a very cautious person. Because she had been scheming for a long time, she didn't dare trust anyone or anything. Without understanding the cause and effect of the matter, she didn't dare make a decision, so she thought of a delaying tactic. Yingying has just returned home and is resting. How about I give you an answer when she wakes up? Is Master asleep? Then let Master rest first. Don't disturb her. I have plenty of time. Even with Meng Qingwu's temperament, she wanted to scold someone. Xiong Tianyin was also a reputable figure. How thick-skinned. Nanyan Commerce had just begun to lay out their plans for the pharmaceutical market. Xiong Tianyin was undoubtedly very beneficial to their development. Only, she didn't believe that there was such a good thing as a meat pie falling from the sky. She had to first calm down Xiong Tianyin and ask her little sister about it before making a decision. Young Miss Nangong Yun, Master Zhang Liqing has come a visit. Housekeeper Zhao ran over while gasping for breath. What? Nangong Yin? Zhang Liqing. Meng Qingwu's brain buzzed, like it had been stirred into a paste. Xiong Tianyin was already not simple. Now, there were 2 more powerful figures. What was going on? Were there any connections between these matters? Nangong Yun, the mayor's only daughter. Her talent was astonishing. Because of her fire phoenix source spirit, her name spread far and wide. She was destined to become a top powerhouse with limitless potential. Zhang Liqing, one of the most influential figures in South Sky City. He was the president of the South Sky City Symbol Masters Guild. He was the authority in South Sky City's array and symbol making. His cultivation was unfathomable, and his connections were astonishing. Countless people wanted to curry favor with him. Even the mayor had to show him some respect. Even the South Cloud Commerce in its heyday did not have this kind of honor. Meng Qingwu forced herself to calm down. Although there must be a reason behind it. Since Zhang Liqing had appeared, the possibility of a conspiracy was not high. Because with Zhang Liqing and Nangong Yun's ability and power, if they really wanted to deal with South Cloud Commerce, there was no need for any conspiracy. A plainly dressed old man stood outside. A red-haired, red-clothed hot beauty stood next to him. Meng Qingwu personally came out to greet them. She nervously cupped her hands in greeting. Master Zhang, Miss Nangong, Qingwu did not know that the 2 of you were visiting, so I did not go out to greet you. Please forgive me. Meng Qingwu looked at the old man. It really was Zhang Liqing. This was South Sky City's symbol making authority. South Cloud Commerce's core was talismans. How could she not be nervous when such a leading figure came? She couldn't help but ask, since the two of you are here, do you have something to say? Could it be that Ying did something wrong, so? Zhang Liqing smiled and shook his head. Meng Ying's matter was a misunderstanding. I hope you don't take it to heart. Take it to heart? How would I dare? Meng Qingwu's heart was filled with joy. Could it be that he was preparing to take back Meng Ying? Nan Gongyin interrupted. Meng Qingwu Jiejie, I thought you weren't bad before, but now I've discovered that you're not a good person. Meng Qingwu's heart skipped a beat. Her forehead was covered in sweat. Why did she say that? What did I do wrong? Nan Gongyun's fierce name was known by everyone. If she was angry, she could tear down the entire Meng family. She couldn't remember when she had offended this evil star. Meng Qingwu was a little scared. Qingwu doesn't know what I did wrong. I asked Miss Nangong to teach me. Nangong Yun casually said, Since you found a real expert, why did you let Ying become this old man's disciple? Isn't this letting others see a joke? You're simply deliberately insulting this old man. Zhang Liqing also nodded with a depressed face. Meng Qingwu was at a loss. Expert, where did this expert come from? Could there be someone more powerful than Zhang Liqing in South Sky City? Even if there was such a person, it couldn't possibly be related to Nangong Yun Commerce. You're being too serious. I don't understand. All right, stop pretending. We all know. Nangong Yun threw a heavy sack on the ground. This is the 10 to 20,000 gold coins that I scraped together. In order to raise this money, I almost sold my underwear. Where is Meng Ying? I want to invest. I want to join. I want to work together with her. Nangong Yun wanted to invest in Meng Ying. The Nangong family was a super military aristocratic family. It wasn't something that a mercenary family like the Yef family could compare to. Nangong Yun, as the mayor's daughter, had a high status in South Sky City. Not to mention investing money. Just a word from her would have a lot of weight, enough to make countless forces fear her. It must be known that Nangong Yun was a true genius. At the age of 18, she had already stepped into the peak ninth body refinement layer. Furthermore, she had a powerful god-level spirit. No one wanted to go against this kind of person. Even though Meng Qingwu was extremely intelligent, she still couldn't figure out the crux of the problem. This old man is looking for you because of this. Zhang Liqing took out a scroll from his sleeve and handed it over to Meng Qingwu with both hands. This is the rock skin talisman design. I'm giving it to Nangong Yun Commerce. From now on, this old man won't take a single cent of the profits. It will all belong to Nangong Yun Commerce. Another big meat pie falling from the sky. Meng Qingwu was already dizzy for being smashed. Zhang Liqing smiled and said, If it wasn't for the help provided by Meng Ying, how could this old man obtain such a perfect talisman design? Fishing for fame is already very scary. How could I dare to profit from it? This gift to Nangong Yun Commerce, I think it's the most suitable. If you still think highly of me, then accept it. I only have one request. I want to see Second Miss and that expert. Hey, what about my investment matter? Give me a definite answer. Nangong Yun loudly shouted. You too. Meng Qingwu wiped her sweat and said, Ying just want to rest. Why don't you go to the hall and have a cup of tea? I'll discuss it with Ying and then give you a definite answer. That's good. Of course there's no problem. Anyway, we don't have anything to do today. Nangong Yun nodded, but I'll say the ugly words first. In order to raise money for this investment, I almost sold my underwear. So if you don't give me face, then I'll be very unhappy. If I'm unhappy, then I'll make a lot of people unhappy with me. Meng Qingwu's heart skipped a beat. She could only helplessly smile. Yes, Miss Nangong, please. The two escorted her to the hall and sat down. Meng Qingwu ran like a 100-meter race to Meng Ying's residence. Without even greeting, she directly opened the door. This series of events was too strange. She must understand the cause and effect. At this time, the unaware Meng Ying was lying on the bed, sleeping soundly. Meng Ying drowsily sat up. One day has passed. Meng Qingwu anxiously asked, What happened yesterday? Quickly tell me. Meng Yingying honestly replied, I went with Chu Tian to sell steak. Then we went to the medicine refining market. That's it. Yes, what's wrong? Meng Qingwu described what just happened. Why did Xiong Tianyin want to be apprenticed? Why did Nangong Yin want to invest? Why did Zhang Liqing take the initiative to express goodwill to our family? What the hell is going on? Ah, you know all about it. I wanted to hide it for a while and give elder sister a surprise. Since elder sister already knows, then let me tell you. Meng Yingying barefooted jumped down from the bed. She immediately beamed with joy and said, the things I experienced last night are more than the past 10 years. Meng Yingying began to describe. First, she went to sell steak and met some hoodlums. Then she went to the medicine refining market and met the Ye family. Finally, she was involved in the competition. With Chu Tian's help, Meng Yingying finally defeated Yi Feng and won 5,000 gold coins. You don't know. At that time, Yi Feng fiercely rushed over. My young Miss Yingying did not panic. She used a dog kick and sent that arrogant Yi Feng flying on the spot. Elder sister, did you know? Everyone was shocked. The way people look at me has changed. Meng Yingying was still dancing with joy. Her eyebrows were dancing as she gestured. Meng Qingwu grabbed her wrist and carefully felt it. She gradually revealed a shocked expression. Everything else could be made up, but cultivation would not lie. Meng Yingying had already reached the peak fourth body refinement layer, the same cultivation as her. Meng Yingying handed over the crystal card and proudly said, this is my spoils of war. Elder sister, please take a look. This was a merchant's special crystal card. It was set up by the country. In order to make it easier for merchants to do business, every city would set up a gold bank. Merchants did not need to carry large amounts of cash. They only needed to use the card to exchange. The lowest limit for a crystal card was 1,000 gold coins. This crystal card really did have a large sum of 5,000 gold coins. Chu Tian. This entire matter revolved around Chu Tian. That fellow was Chu Tian? He didn't lie? Last night, he really did bring Yingying to make money, and he really did bring Meng Yingying to rent a room. It was just that it was a refining room. From beginning to end, he was helping Meng Yingying, but she had misunderstood him for no reason at all. Meng Qingwu absent-mindedly sat on the stool. Where did you find this person? Meng Yingying giggled and said with a proud face, I bought him. Bought? Amazing, right? Meng Yingying proudly raised her head. This was probably the most amazing investment she had made in her life. I spent half a year's worth of pocket money to buy him from the slave market. That's right. Where did this fellow go? Why didn't he come to see me? This is bad. He might have already left in anger from me. What? Where does he live? Take me there. He lives in the small room next to the kitchen. Meng Yingying hurriedly brought her sister to Chu Tian's small room. The small room was empty. Chu Tian had long since disappeared. Meng Yingying immediately panicked. She searched inside and out several times, but could not find a trace of him. Where did he go? Meng Qingwu felt very guilty and sad. I'm sorry, this is all my fault. I thought he was plotting against you, so I said a few harsh words. Who knew that his temper would be so bad? We had a bit of a conflict, and I accidentally stabbed him. In a fit of anger, he said that he wanted to leave. I don't know where he went. What? Meng Yingying's eyes became moist and tears couldn't help but flow out. He tried his best to help me, but we still treated him like this. His heart must be broken. How could sister be like this? You didn't investigate clearly and wrongly accused a good person. I did it for you. Wasn't it just a moment of anger? Meng Qingwu felt her chest tighten, and she couldn't say a single word for a long time. She looked at the light bulb left in the room, at the pan and soup pot with the engraved source energy arrays, at the air conditioning array on the wall, and at the automatically heating teapot. Although she didn't know what use these things had, she had already realized that she had done a stupid thing. The stupidest thing she had ever done in her life. She had chased away a genius, a heaven-sent genius. Meng Yingying felt very uncomfortable, but she couldn't bear to blame her sister. From her sister's point of view, she didn't do anything wrong. She just cared too much about her and was confused, so she fell out with Chu Tian. Chu Tian did his best to help me, But in the end, not only did he not receive any gratitude, he was even misunderstood. He must be very disappointed and sad. Meng Yingying felt a deep sense of guilt and self-blame. Chapter 16. What should she do? Meng Qingwu frowned and quickly thought of a solution. I can try to buy some time. Chu Tian should not have gone far. You should go and find him quickly. You must bring him back. That was the only way. The two sisters split up. Meng Qingwu held a sumptuous lunch to entertain the three big shots. Meng Yingying brought people to search the streets. Half a day had passed, but Chu Tian was nowhere to be found. Meng Yingying came back with disappointment. Chu Tian is very powerful. If he really wants to leave, we will not be able to find him. When Meng Qingwu heard this, her nose turned sour and she felt very wronged. Although she had misunderstood him, he still took his revenge on the spot. Not only did he fiercely humiliate her, he also spanked her several times. Her body had never been touched by another man before. Was he not satisfied? Can a man be more open-minded? Don't be calculative with a woman like me. Her round buttocks were still burning and swollen. It was not hard to imagine how ruthless he was. He did not have any tender feelings for the fair sex. Meng Yingying's mood was different from her sister. She was a little worried because her talent was mediocre and she was not smart. Apart from her beauty, there was nothing outstanding about her. Since she was a child, she had encountered people's eyes that were either obscene or disdainful. Wen Yifeng said that she was a useless vase. Although Meng Yingying was very angry, she had to admit it. Chu Tian was a surprise given to her by God. Although it was only 2 days, it was the most ups and downs, the happiest and most fulfilling days for Meng Yingying. For the first time, she felt that fate could be changed. After all, standing on the wind, even a pig could fly to the sky. For the first time, she felt a strong sense of security. This sense of security was something that even her sister could not give her. Chu Tian was frivolous, arrogant, overbearing, lecherous, and bad, but Meng Yingying had an intuition that Chu Tian was a good person who could be trusted. Although they had only known each other for 2 days, a strange feeling that she had never felt before had sprouted in her heart. Who knew that the pleasant surprise came too suddenly and left too suddenly, causing her to be caught unprepared. She didn't have the time to react, and only left an empty heart with boundless regret and loss. Will I never see him again? Meng Yingying couldn't believe that she was so sad. It was as if a big worm had drilled into her heart and was biting it fiercely, causing her tears to fall uncontrollably. Seeing her sister's sad expression, Meng Qingwu regretted and blamed herself even more. Because of a moment of impulse, she directly hurt 2 people, no, 3 people. She was also a victim. Young miss, something big has happened. Steward Zhao hurriedly ran over, almost rolling and crawling. Meng Qingwu was already in a very passive position. What new trouble had happened? Steward Zhao was sweating profusely as he said, "Something happened to the pharmacy. A group of customers have been poisoned, and now a large group of people have come here to demand an explanation from Nanyan Commerce." Meng Qingwu felt as if she was struck by lightning. How is this possible? Nanyan Commerce had invested a large amount of money into the pharmaceutical market and made sufficient preparations. Since opening the pharmacy, everything had been smooth sailing without any setbacks. However, because everything had been too smooth, Meng Qingwu suspected that there was a trap. She even told her worries to Meng Yingying. Her premonition of danger had come true. Meng Yingying worriedly looked at her sister. What should we do? There was already a burst of noise outside. Unscrupulous merchants are harming people. Unscrupulous merchants are harming people. Meng Qingwu, don't be a coward, quickly come out. The 3 important people were still at home, and there was a crowd outside. Meng Qingwu felt that she was stretched thin. She could only say to Meng Yingying, "This matter is definitely caused by our enemies. Go to the hall and find Master Zhang and the others. If you are with them, your safety will be guaranteed." Meng Yingying anxiously asked, "What about sister? I will settle it. Don't worry about me." Meng Qingwu shouted, "Captain Meng, bring a few people. We will go out and take a look." Meng Qingwu did not appear for the time being. She first observed the situation inside the door. There was an angry crowd outside, and almost all of them were armed. There were soldiers, mercenaries, adventurers, and independent cultivators. Because the pharmacy was targeted at cultivators, once something happened to the pharmacy, it would immediately offend the most powerful people. At this time, she suddenly came to a realization. No wonder the pharmacy had such a smooth start. Her enemies did not intend to attack her business, but instead thought of using a borrowed knife to kill people. "Profiteer, come out. My brother is still unconscious. Give me justice." Captain Meng walked out first, pulled out the long blade at his waist, and blocked the stones and debris that were thrown at him. He shouted in a deep voice, "Shut up. Big Miss will explain clearly. What is the use of arguing? Can you solve the problem?" Captain Meng was a famous warrior, body refinement 7th rank, and his battle strength was unexpectedly. When this person opened his mouth to speak, everyone was immediately afraid. "Meng Shan, you are so powerful." Captain Meng looked over, and his expression became strange. A trace of deep hatred flashed in his eyes, because this person was not someone else, but Han Xiaolong, Meng Yingying's second senior apprentice, Zhang Liqing's second disciple, and the young master of Blackwater commerce. Others were afraid of Captain Meng, but Han Xiaolong did not seem to be afraid at all. Lang Sheng shouted, "Southern Cloud Pharmacy sold Blackheart medicine," which led to the exposure of the matter, and the Han family also had a few victims. Now that the matter has been exposed, we are here to seek justice. But Meng Qingwu did not even show her face and sent a few thugs to suppress the scene. "Is there still justice? Is there still justice?" These words immediately incited the anger of the crowd. The scene was about to go out of control again. "Southern Cloud Commerce is medicine. There can't be a problem." A magnetic voice came, sexy and steady. Meng Qingwu slowly walked out, her clothes whiter than snow, her black hair like a waterfall, her temperament noble, like a fairy descending to the world. At this moment, she was calm on the surface, but her heart was in a mess. This matter was too big, and the most frightening thing was that she did not notice it at all. The source of the material was reliable. The alchemists were all hired from outside the city with high salaries. Meng Qingwu could be said to be very cautious, even watertight. Therefore, it was impossible for an outsider to poison the medicine. So there was only one possibility. This person was someone close to her. Southern Cloud Commerce had a very deep undercover. It was precisely because of this that Meng Qingwu felt cold all over her body, although she did not know who betrayed her. This person must be her trusted aide. Shameless Blackheart profiteer. This matter is already in front of you, and you still dare to deny it. Everyone quickly carry the injured up. Let this Blackheart profiteer see what kind of heartless thing she has done. Hundreds of stretchers were carried out from the crowd. Every person who was carried out was in a weak state. Their faces were unnaturally ashy, their whole body was trembling, and they were constantly sweating. This was definitely the result of some kind of poison. Han Xiaolong crossed his arms in front of his chest, righteously said, "This is only a small portion of the victims. These 2 days, almost everyone who took Southern Cloud Commerce's medicine all showed symptoms of poisoning. This fact is in front of us. What is there to deny? Everyone, don't you think we should get justice?" That's right. We want justice. This was a conspiracy that had been planned for a long time and had been carefully planned. Everyone, please calm down. Meng Qingwu knew that if she denied it now, it would be useless. Instead, it would incite more anger in the crowd. She could only suppress her anger and grievance and say, "There is something fishy about this matter. Please believe me, believe in Nanyun Commerce. We will definitely investigate the truth and compensate the victims." Compensate? Can you afford to compensate? After we were poisoned, our cultivations have seriously regressed. We can't even find out what poison we were poisoned with. If your Southern Cloud Commerce investigated, who knows how many people would have died? What compensation is there talk about? This matter was clearly more serious than they imagined. Because the poison was not detected, this meant that the poison was carefully prepared, making Southern Cloud Commerce unable to find out what poison it was. If they didn't even know what poison it was, how could they track down the poisoner? Moreover, if they didn't even know what poison it was, how could they detoxify these people? The whole matter would continue to ferment until it was out of control. My brother bought a bottle of healing medicine. When he was out on a mission, the poison acted up, and now he has been killed by demon beasts. A large man with a full beard rushed out from the crowd, holding a steel axe. He angrily roared, "You Blackheart profiteer, return my brother's life." Captain Meng roared, "Scram!" The long blade blocked the steel axe. Magic energy directly knocked the opponent over and kicked him back into the crowd. Captain Meng wielded his blade and stood guard at Meng Qingwu's side. "If anyone dares to harm Big Miss, don't blame me for being impolite." Han Xiaolong caught the full bearded man, immediately taking the opportunity to shout. The profiteer did not give us an explanation. Instead, she attacked and injured people. Fight it out with her. Chop the profiteer to death. Down with the Blackheart commerce. Meng Qingwu blankly stared at the angry crowd, her face quickly becoming pale. "It's over. It's all over. After this matter, no matter what the final outcome is, Southern Cloud Commerce's reputation will be completely ruined. One wrong step, and everything will be lost." She had painstakingly managed for so many years, as if treading on thin ice, careful and cautious. But in the end, she still fell for a dirty trick, and the commerce fell apart in one night. Meng Qingwu suddenly felt a deep sense of exhaustion. She was really tired. "Please be quiet for a moment," Meng Qingwu shouted, her eyes filled with tears. Taking 2 steps forward, standing in front of the crowd, her heart filled with mixed feelings, she used a firm and powerful voice to say, "I still have the same words. Southern Cloud Commerce will compensate for all losses. Please believe me. Even if I have to go bankrupt, I will still compensate." Housekeeper Zhao. The old housekeeper staggered in front of the mistress. Meng Qingwu ordered, "First take out the commerce's cash as the first batch of compensation. Also, take out all of the commerce's untouched properties. Mortgage them all, no matter the cost. First compensate for the victim's losses." "Big Miss, you want to dissolve the commerce." Housekeeper Zhao's old tears flowed down. "Why do you have to do this? It's not our fault." "Conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy." Meng Qingwu bitterly laughed. It was a conspiracy, but was it useful? This time the other party had carefully prepared. They must be confident that she would not be able to find out, and the poisoner is very likely to be an internal spy. Even if this kind of thing is really found out, Southern Cloud Commerce will have to bear a lot of responsibility for not using people properly. Moreover, after such a terrible incident, even if Southern Cloud Commerce is lucky enough to survive, a commerce that has completely lost its credibility, will there still be any possibility of development? Housekeeper Zhao's whole body trembled. When Master and Madam first came out to roam the world, this old servant followed by their side, working hard for decades. I watched Southern Cloud Commerce grow up with my own eyes. 6 years ago, Master and Madam were killed. This old servant should have been buried with them. But I was worried about the commerce. After all, this is their blood and sweat. Now that the commerce is gone, why should I continue to live? I will fight with these despicable people. Old Zhao. Housekeeper Zhao rushed towards Han Xiaolong. Meng Qingwu wanted to stop him, but it was too late. An arrow was shot from the crowd, directly piercing through the old man's chest. Old Zhao. Meng Qingwu did not care about Captain Meng's obstruction. Threw herself on the old man's body. Her 2 hands quickly dyed red with blood. She looked at the surrounding crowd, her face already full of tears. "I'm already willing to give up everything. You guys have won. You guys have already won. Why do you still have to do this? Why?" Han Xiaolong laughed loudly. "Meng Qingwu, are you really stupid, or are you just pretending to be stupid? You think that just compensating for the loss is enough? Brother Wang, please tell her." A man wearing a high-ranking officer's armor walked out, first holding up a token. "I am the captain of Tiannan City's investigation team." Wang righteously said, "This poisoning case has many victims. The impact is extremely bad. According to the kingdom's laws, the commerce management regulations, as the person in charge of the commerce, if Meng Qingwu cannot find out the truth, then she will have an unavoidable responsibility. She can only be treated as an accomplice, exiled to the border for life. All family members will be permanently removed, sent to military prostitutes, military slaves. So ruthless. Meng Qingwu will be tattooed and exiled. Meng Yingying will be reduced to a military prostitute. Does she really have to be ruthless? Motherf asterisk her. At this time, a deep voice like a large bell came out from the room. It was filled with infinite rage. Who the F asterisk CK wants to send my master to be a military prostitute? Simply looking for death. Eat this father's fist first. A strong pressure suddenly came out. Everyone felt their chests being pressed down. They couldn't even move their bodies. Just a moment ago, the captain was still speaking righteously and with a strong sense of righteousness. Suddenly, he was hit by a red fist shadow and was blasted more than 10 meters away on the spot. All the muscles and bones in his body were shattered. He did not even have the chance to make a sound before he died on the spot. Han Xiaolong's face changed. How dare you? You dare to kill an officer in broad daylight. At this time, a familiar female voice came out. Surnamed Han, deceiving your master, sowing discord, your guts aren't small. Nangongyan? 3 people slowly walked out. One was a hot beauty wearing high boots, a red dress, and a head full of red hair like a waterfall. Another was a nearly 2-meter-tall man in his 30s, looking like a bear. The last one was a plain, white-haired old man. When Han Xiaolong saw Zhang Liqing, it was as if he had seen a ghost. His face suddenly changed. Teacher. Chapter 17. What kind of person was Zhang Liqing? He instantly understood the cause and effect. After Nanyan Commerce suffered a setback 6 years ago, it was the support of the Ye family that allowed Blackwater Commerce to grow rapidly. Blackwater Commerce and Nanyan Commerce's main products were talismans, and the struggle between them had never stopped. Blackwater Commerce grew stronger and stronger and had the support of the powerful Ye family. Nanyan Commerce, on the other hand, had become a second-rate commerce after suffering a setback, and without any backing, the two were simply not on the same level. Meng Qingwu was not simple. She withstood the strong pressure and firmly held on for 6 years. Nanyan Commerce did not collapse, but instead steadily survived under the huge pressure. Meng Qingwu was a very ambitious person. She hoped to restore Nanyan Commerce's former glory, but she was very clear that Nanyan Commerce did not have any backing and could not compete with Blackwater Commerce. Therefore, she wanted to find another way and spent a lot of money to prepare for the pharmaceutical market for half a year. She had prepared carefully for half a year, and in the end, such a big thing happened only 2 weeks after the opening. Was this possible? Impossible. She was definitely schemed against. Han Xiaolong deliberately misled him and expelled Meng Yingying the day before yesterday. Wasn't it to completely separate himself from the Meng family? Zhang Liqing could basically confirm that the Han family was definitely involved in this conspiracy after connecting all these events together. Zhang Liqing did not pay attention to the competition between the commerce, but this time the situation was different. It was related to Meng Yingying, it was related to Chu Tian, and it was related to his own life. At the same time, the poisoning incident had a huge impact, and there were too many victims. There was nothing wrong with business competition, but injuring the innocent was unforgivable. No matter what, he had to do something. Han Xiaolong was bewildered. He was not sure of Zhang Liqing's position. Why are you here? Zhang Liqing looked at him coldly. From today onwards, you and I will break off our relationship. The academic field does not need a person with wild ambitions, and I do not need a scheming student. Han Xiaolong's face changed. The famous talisman master Zhang Liqing expelled his second disciple from the sect in front of everyone. What the hell was going on? Zhang Liqing's tone became more and more severe. Don't continue to fan the flames, or else don't blame me for being impolite. Han Xiaolong revealed an embarrassed look. He had calculated everything, but he did not expect Zhang Liqing to appear here. In addition, there were also Xiong Tianyin and Nangongyan. Why were so many important people together with Meng Qingwu? He didn't know about this at all. Elder Zhang, you're going to commit a heinous crime. An equally old voice came from the crowd. It's not easy to accumulate your reputation for so many years. I advise you not to get involved in this mess, lest you lose your reputation and lose your integrity in your old age. Xiong Tianyan's big, bare face froze, and he snorted. Li Changyan, since you're already here, don't act weird. Come out. A skinny old man walked out. His skin was tight, and his hair was sparse. He looked like he was in his 50s, but he was actually in his 70s. He wore a very exquisite and luxurious robe made of python skin, and he held a snake-headed staff made of purple gold in his hand. There were a few sparkling rings on his fingers, and his hair was combed back, making him look very noble and appropriate. In comparison, Zhang Liqing was an old and sloppy country bumpkin, Tiannan City's Alchemist Guild's president, Tiannan City's Talisman Master Guild's president. The two giants collided, and the development of events exceeded everyone's expectations. Zhang Liqing's eyes became dignified. Li Changyan's appearance here was not only to suppress him, but it also represented a deeper meaning. Li Changyan was the Ye family's consecrator and also a senior guest elder. In a sense, Li Changyan was a member of the Ye family. His appearance here meant that the Ye family was also involved in this matter. Nanyan commerce was in danger. Xiong Tianyan, you injure my disciple. This matter will be settled with you sooner or later. Li Changyan glared at Xiong Tianyan and then continued to look at Zhang Liqing. Elder Zhang, I advise you to cherish your reputation. This Nanyan commerce has committed such a heinous crime. Heaven and earth are angry, and the people want to punish them. As the representative of the alchemists, I naturally have to participate in this matter. Li Changyan coldly laughed twice, and then slowly continued. You are quite accomplished in talisman making, but can you compare to me in alchemy? This time, even I can't find out what poison it is. If you continue to be stubborn, I'm afraid you will regret it. How could Zhang Liqing not understand the meaning behind these words? Li Changyan was the president of the Alchemist Guild. If Li Changyan couldn't determine the poison, then no one in Tiannan City could. If they couldn't even find out what poison the victim was poisoned with, then what was the point of talking about a cure? According to the law, if they couldn't find the culprit, then, as the person in charge of the commerce, Meng Qingwu would definitely be the scapegoat. If Zhang Liqing insisted on speaking up for Meng Qingwu, then in the end, his reputation would be ruined. As expected, these people were well prepared. Even the poison they used was carefully prepared. Zhang Liqing was not afraid. The Ye family's many years of offering to President Li has worn away your integrity. Your soul has been soaked in luxury and greed. As scholars, if we don't even have the strength of character, then how can we talk about searching for the truth? This matter, this old man will take care of it. If I don't find out the truth, I won't rest. Xiong Tianyan loudly shouted. Well said. This old bear will also take care of it. Nan Gongyin followed up. This miss will make the culprit suffer a fate worse than death. These three people, who had only met by chance, did not hesitate to use their reputations as stakes to seek justice for her. What kind of honor was this? Meng Qingwu's heart was filled with emotions. However, she was very clear in her heart that the three of them were speaking up for her mainly because of Chu Tian. She thought of Chu Tian and fell into deep regret. If only this fellow hadn't left, then he would have been able to protect Ying better than this useless sister. Li Changyan fiercely hit the ground with his staff. This old man will say this. There is no way to cure this poison. No one in Tiannan City can recognize it. If you don't come to your senses, then you can only be buried with him. Just wait and see. Zhang Liqing's heart sank. This old man Li was full of confidence. This time, it would be really troublesome. Who said no one can cure it? This old man is just incompetent. But at this time, a frivolous voice rang out in the middle of the crowd. Out of the way, let me pass. Chu Tian, is that you? Meng Yingying's eyes widened. Her face was filled with disbelief. Chu Tian squeezed out of the crowd with great difficulty. With shifty eyes, he smiled at Meng Yingying. Of course it's me. Otherwise, who could it be? Meng Qingwu was stunned. This fellow, didn't he want to leave? Why did he come back? Meng Yingying's tears flowed out uncontrollably. She excitedly threw herself into his arms. How could you leave without saying a word? I thought I would never be able to find you again. Chu Tian patted the little girl's shoulder. Are you stupid? My contract is still in your hands. How could I leave? If you destroyed the contract, I will be dead. Meng Yingying suddenly remembered that Chu Tian was still a slave. Wasn't the contract still in her hands? She suddenly smiled through her tears. You also have times where you are afraid? But don't worry, I won't use the contract against you. Where did you go? I couldn't find you even if I tried. My leg was injured. Of course, I had to go to the pharmacy to buy medicine to treat it, and also take a nap. Chu Tian looked left and right, but then again, when I came back, such a big thing happened. It really caught me off guard. Who was this ugly old man? With Chu Tian backing her up, the little girl's confidence instantly exploded. Meng Yingying was like a bullied child, indignantly complaining to her parents. He is Li Chongyun. Li Chongyun held back his anger. He was very confident in his reputation. There weren't many people in Tianan City who didn't know him. After Amir Jr. found out about his reputation, wouldn't he be scared stiff on the spot? Who knew? Chu Tian shook his head. I just said not long ago, the president of the Alchemist Guild is not worthy of carrying my shoes. Today it seems like it was completely correct. Trash like you can't even compare to Xiong Tianyin. I think you should give up your position as the president. Li Chongyun was enraged. How dare you? Spouting nonsense. Just based on these words, this old man should kill you right now. President Li is already so old. Why do you need to get angry at a young man? Zhang Liqing knew Chu Tian's personality, and the old man in front of him was not weak. He had the heart-devouring poison in his body, so he might not be able to block it. So he was afraid that Chu Tian would anger Li Chongyun. Young sir, can you find out what poison these people have? Li Chongyun coldly laughed and said, You've lived for so many years. You actually believe the nonsense a child? Chu Tian directly said to Li Chongyun, Old frog in a well. You don't know shit. Li Chongyun's face was ashen. What did you say? Chu Tian directly retorted. I said, You've lived for so many years, but you're so stubborn and inflexible, acting like a tyrant in a small place. Do you really think you're some big shot? You're not even a fart. What? Why are you staring at me like that? You're not convinced. Humph. Calling yourself the #1 alchemist in Tianan? What a big tone. I'll say it here today. If I can find the poison, are you going to kneel down and kowtow to me, or scram out of here with your tail between your legs? Li Chongyun clenched his fists until they made a caw-caw sound. You're the first person in Tianan City who dares to speak to me like this. Fine. If I can really find the poison, this old man won't argue with you. Otherwise, I'll make sure that your annoying mouth will never be able to open its mouth again. There's no need to check. It's the river Styx. Han Xiaolong's pupils suddenly shrank. Li Chongyun's eyes also flashed with a strange light. Xiong Tianyin suddenly understood, immediately full of admiration. After the river Styx is poisoned, it fuses with the body's vitality, corroding it and causing one's cultivation to regress. This kind of poison is colorless and odorless. Once it's in the water, it won't react with any other materials, so it's hard to detect. The poison doesn't stay in the blood, so it can't be detected, so it's hard to determine. Also, river Styx is very rare. Normal people wouldn't even think of it. You're spouting nonsense. Are you trying to fool this old man, or are you trying to fool everyone? Li Chongyun coldly laughed. River Styx poisoning is impossible to detect, since it's an undetectable poison. What basis do you have to talk about it? Han Xiaolong angrily said. He's from the Meng family. I suspect he's trying to exonerate the unscrupulous merchant. This kind of person should be hacked to pieces. Everyone revealed an angry expression. Idiot to the extreme. Chu Tian bluntly put on a big hat. River Styx damages cultivators by corroding their spirit energy, so it has no effect on normal people. You only need to investigate and see if normal people are poisoned. Then it's enough to determine. If you still don't believe me, then test the poison on a criminal and you'll know. If the final result is not river Styx, then I'll chop off my head for you to kick as a ball. Xiong Tianyin's fierce-looking face trembled. He excitedly said, "River Styx is a complete poison. It's very rare and expensive. It's 10 times more expensive than most medicines on the market. There has never been a medicine that uses this stuff in refining. Even if Southern Cloud Commerce's executives are stupid, they still wouldn't put a large amount of River Styx into their medicine. So, it's not a problem with the materials or a mistake in refining the medicine." Nangongya nodded. "This is premeditated poisoning, 100% premeditated poisoning." Everyone was doubtful. Han Xiao Long saw the situation wasn't right. He immediately shouted, "Confusing the public. Let's not talk about whether or not it was really poisoning. Southern Cloud Commerce's supervision isn't strict, so they should take responsibility." "That's right. That's right. Don't even think about clearing the black-hearted and scrupulous merchant's name. If we can't find the real culprit, then Meng Qingwu will have to take full responsibility for this matter. Don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Actually, I've already found the culprit." Chu Tian pointed at the person next to Meng Qingwu. "It's you, Captain Meng." Chapter 18. Meng Qingwu's whole body trembled. Although she guessed that the poisoning was done by her trusted subordinate, she never would have thought, or rather refused to believe, that this person would be the loyal guard captain that had followed her for 7 years. 7 years ago, Meng Shan brought his weak wife and child to escape from his enemies. It was Nanyun Commerce that took him in. Meng Shan's talent and strength were not dazzling, so he could only be an ordinary guard in Nanyun Commerce. Not long after, Nanyun Commerce underwent a drastic change. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. Almost all the talented people left. Only Meng Shan chose to stay and assist Meng Qingwu to overcome this crisis. This kind of person who had gone through thick and thin together, who had an honest and loyal personality, would really betray her? Meng Yingying also did not believe it. Captain Meng's loyalty to her sister was unquestionable. He had saved her sister several times in times of crisis. If he really wanted to harm the commerce, he would not have waited until today. Nonsense! Nonsense! Meng Shan's face was full of shock. His eyes revealed a trace of uncontrollable panic. Who in Nanyun Commerce doesn't know that I am loyal to Mississippi? How could I harm this? If you can't prove it, don't slander me. Chu Tian said, "If the evidence could be destroyed, it would have been destroyed. But some evidence cannot be destroyed. For example, high-concentration Styx water is very volatile. When you use the high-concentration Styx water, you will inevitably inhale some poisonous gas." Captain Meng seemed to have thought of something. His body was already trembling. Chu Tian sighed softly. "Because it is very mild, at most there will be a little discomfort, so I will not pay special attention. But what you can't imagine is that after the poison from Styx water settles, it will condense into small gray spots on the body. In addition, Styx water is a dark attribute material. Your fingers turning black is the evidence of contact with dark attribute materials. Am I right? Monster. This young man is a monster. How could he even know this kind of thing?" Xiong Tianyan walked over. "Let me see." Captain Meng was about to resist. "Get lost." "I didn't." Nangongyan jumped up and kicked the long blade away. Xiong Tianyan took the opportunity to use his grappling technique and easily subdued Captain Meng's hands. He first checked his 10 fingers. 10 fingers are black. This is indeed a sign of contact with high-density dark attribute materials. Xiong Tianyan lifted Meng Shan's armor and saw that his chest and back were densely covered with needle-like gray spots. "The evidence is irrefutable, and you still dare to quibble?" Meng Shan's face was as pale as a sheet of paper. "It's over, it's all over." "Is it really you?" Meng Qingwu trembled all over. "I used to think that you were a man who valued friendship and righteousness. I used to think that you were a person who would not be bought by money. Tell me, why is that?" "That's right." Captain Meng's eyes were filled with hatred and regret. "I was the one who poisoned him." Everyone was stunned. He thought that Captain Meng would continue to quibble. Who knew that he would confess so easily? "Meng, you will die a horrible death." Meng Shan looked at the angry crowd. His eyes were filled with despair, but there was also a hint of relief. Originally, he had a sliver of hope, but from the moment he was seen through, he was finished. Han Xiaolong revealed a panicked expression. He hurriedly said, Meng Shan, how much did this profiteer give you? Is it worth it for you to take the blame? Don't forget, you have a wife and child. If you die, what will happen to them? Meng Shan broke into a maniacal laughter. Ha! Wife and child, you actually have the face to say these words to me. Let me go. Let me go. Please let me go. Meng Qingwu nodded at Xiong Tianyan. After Meng Shan was released, his eyes revealed a hint of determination. Nan Yun Commerce's kindness to Meng Shan is as heavy as a mountain. Even if I die, I will not betray Big Miss, but Meng Shan used his trembling hands to take out a small cloth bag from his bosom. In it were a few bloody fingers. He shouted himself hoarse. 5 days ago, my wife and child were kidnapped. These bastards used my wife and child's lives to threaten me. At first, I did not agree to help them, but they sent a finger to me every day to torture me. Damned bastards, you will all die a horrible death. Han Xiaolong's expression changed. Think carefully before you speak. Meng Shan pointed angrily at Han Xiaolong. His eyes were bloodshot. He shouted himself hoarse. Han Xiaolong, I am talking about you. If you have the ability, come at me. Why do you have to torture my wife and child? They're just ordinary people. They're just ordinary people. Shua. Countless gazes gathered on him. Han Xiaolong was so scared that he took a step back. Venomous slander. You are venomous slander. Meng Shan turned around and knelt on the ground. He kowtowed 3 times to Meng Qingwu. Big Miss, the poison was given to me by Han Xiaolong. I know my sins are grave. I have no words to live on in this world. I have no face to face you. To prove that I am not lying, to prove that Nanyun Commerce is innocent. And for the innocent people who have been harmed, I can only apologize with my death. Meng Shan raised his palm. No. Meng Qingwu hurriedly tried to stop him, but it was too late. Meng Shan hit his chest. His heart was shattered on the spot. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Meng Yingying cried out in fear. Captain Meng! Captain Meng! Meng Qingwu hurriedly went to help him up. We know you were forced. Why did you do this? Wife and child. Everything I have is over. Everything is over. Meng Shan's eyes were wide open. His gaze quickly became lax. He gasped for breath with difficulty. His face was full of hatred and regret. I know I am too selfish, but I really did not expect the consequences would be so serious. I really did not expect them to be so vicious. Meng Shan's consciousness became hazy. At the moment of his death, he said, The whole thing is my fault. My wife and child are still alive. Please let them go. Big Miss, I am sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry. Meng Shan knew that no matter how much he said, he would not be able to make up for it. A tear flowed from the corner of his eye. With endless regret and pain, he left this world. Zhang Liqing sighed. If you knew it would be like this, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. Housekeeper Zhao died. Captain Meng died. When she saw Meng Shan's face filled with regret and pain, Meng Qingwu's heart became extremely heavy. She muttered to herself, Rest in peace. If your wife and child are still alive, I will definitely help you take care of them. Han Xiaolong, you bastard. Countless angry gazes focused on him at the same time. Han Xiaolong pointed at Chu Tian. Can't you all see? The unscrupulous merchant is obviously using a lowly slave and a guard from his family to put up a ruse. Don't fall for it. The Han family is also a victim. A few of their family members were poisoned. How could this matter have anything to do with me? Nanyun Commerce is definitely trying to frame me. Zhang Liqing said angrily. Han Xiaolong, even now you still don't admit it. Do you really think everyone is an idiot? You can't say it like that. Li Changyan said in a strange tone. I personally feel that young Master Han's words are not without reason. Everyone, think about it. Even I can't identify the poison. He is just a lowly slave in his teens. How could he have such knowledge and ability? Is it not worth suspecting? Even if he learned alchemy since he was in his mother's womb, it is impossible for him to have such an understanding of the river Styx. I think there is something fishy about this. I suggest that Nanyun Commerce be shut down first. Then, They involved Meng Qingwu be imprisoned. Investigate thoroughly before making a decision. Li Changyan's status was very high. Everyone hesitated again. Han Xiaolong let out a long sigh. Thank you, Grandmaster. Of course I am innocent. How could I be framed by them? Han Xiaolong had already discovered it. This unknown Chu Tian was the real threat. He must think of a way to get rid of this guy first. Han Xiaolong's mind turned quickly. He immediately pointed the spearhead at him. You lowly slave, tell me the truth. How much did this group of profiteers give you? How dare you frame me? An old dog who spreads discord. An idiot with a mouth full of sh*t. Chu Tian maintained a calm and collected demeanor. It was as if everything was under his control. He did not lose his mind because of the other's words. Captain Meng used his death as a witness. But he said I framed him. Don't you think it's ridiculous? He dared to call Grandmaster Li Changyun an old dog in public? Sure enough, Li Changyun flew into a rage. He already had a faint killing intent. Young man, I have tolerated you time and time again, but you keep pushing your luck. You must know that there's a price for talking nonsense. Everyone heard it. A lowly servant like him dares to be so arrogant. He even insulted Grandmaster Li Changyun. He deserves to die 10,000 times. Han Xiaolong took the opportunity to stand out. A person like you deserves to die. Grandmaster Li Changyun is of noble character and unquestionable integrity. Maybe he won't argue with you, but you have tarnished my innocence and dignity. No matter what, I will not forgive you. Chu Tian seemed to have seen through the other's thoughts. What do you want? Han Xiaolong said vehemently. I want to fight you one-on-one. A fair duel to the death. I want to use your blood to wash away my injustice. Do you dare? Duel. You are at the 4th rank of body refinement. I am at the 3rd rank. You are already over 20 years old. I am only 17. You want to use force to suppress me. What a fair duel to the death. You don't dare? Then kneel down and apologize to me. Clear my name. No, no, no. You insist on fighting. How can I not accompany you? Han Xiaolong heard this and immediately showed a hint of joy. Trash like you, one move from me is enough. Chu Tian shrugged his shoulders. I will return those words to you. I will also only use one move. One move? Everyone was stunned. The difference in energy between the 3rd and 4th rank of body refinement was huge. A 4th rank body refinement martial artist defeating a 3rd rank body refinement martial artist in one move was a very normal thing. After all, the disparity in strength was obvious. But a 3rd rank body refinement martial artist defeating a 4th rank body refinement martial artist in one move? That was an almost impossible thing to do. Xiong Tianyin wanted to stop him. Nan Gongyin shook her head. Han Xiaolong is only a hedonistic son. Even if he is at the 4th rank of body refinement, he lacks actual combat ability. Although Chu Tian is boasting too much, I believe he will not lose. Let's see how you can continue being arrogant. Han Xiaolong's hands suddenly shot out, making a slight explosion in the air. I will first cripple your arms. Heavenly Eagle Claw, a very powerful martial art. Han Xiaolong had trained hard for many years and had already reached the point of perfection. His speed was fast and his attack was strong. Combined with the energy of the 4th rank of body refinement, one move was enough to cripple his opponent. Chu Tian closed his eyes and remained unmoved. He secretly gathered his energy. His right fist glowed with energy. The moment Han Xiaolong's sharp claws attacked him, his eyes opened. At this moment, it was as if he had changed into a different person. He was no longer lazy and frivolous. He was like a sword that was unsheathed, a sword that thirsted for slaughter. His heart skipped a beat. Han Xiaolong had a frightening intuition, like prey being targeted by a hunter. It made all the hairs on his body stand up. Even his blood froze. Impossible. A mere 3rd rank of body refinement cultivator. How could he produce such a strong pressure? Han Xiaolong clenched his teeth. I don't believe you can stop me. Go die. Chu Tian was like a butterfly flying through flowers. He took a very graceful step forward, instantly dissolving Han Xiaolong's attack. Moreover, his entire chest was exposed in front of his fist. Collapsing fist. Under Chu Tian's heavy attack, a strong wave of air burst forth. Han Xiaolong was like a kite with a broken string. He broke a few bones on the spot and fell heavily to the ground. Ew. Han Xiaolong struggled to get up. Bang! She stepped on his head with one foot. Pitifully weak, unable to withstand a single blow. Just who is the trash? Chu Tian's clothes were still flapping under the force of the Yuan Qi. His gaze was as cold as a knife's edge. He stared at Han Xiaolong, who was lying on the ground, and said condescendingly, "What else do you have to say?" Everyone was deeply shocked. The youth was frivolous and overbearing, shocking everyone. He really did it. With the strength of a third rank of body refinement, he defeated a fourth rank body refinement opponent in one move. He won calmly, without any suspense, and with ease. It gave people the feeling that Chu Tian was a top expert who had hidden his true strength, and Han Xiaolong was just an idiot who did not know the difference between life and death. Li Changyin frowned a little. This kid really did not seem ordinary. Where did he come from? Could he be a core disciple of some superpower? Slave? Impossible. This kind of personality, this kind of talent, this kind of ability, how could he be a slave? A genius would not appear out of nowhere. Chu Tian was completely unknown in the past, which made him seem very mysterious and strange. This made Li Chongyun a little uncertain about what to do. Everyone also had a whole new level of respect for Chu Tian. Calling him a slave? What a joke. A person who could easily challenge someone a higher level. No matter which power he joined, he would definitely be heavily nurtured. How could he be the servant of a small southern cloud commerce? Chu Tian's fist completely defeated Han Xiaolong, and even destroyed the idea of a slave. Chapter 19. Who is Han Xiaolong? How could he endure such humiliation? I am the heir of Blackwater Commerce. A lowly slave dares to humiliate me in public. What are you looking at? Kill, kill, kill. Kill him for me. Having been stepped on by Chu Tian, Han Xiaolong flew into a rage out of humiliation. He lost all sense of reason and recklessly ordered his guards to kill Chu Tian on the spot to vent his anger. Nangong Yin threw out two fists, scram. Two thick red fists shot out. The two Han family guards were sent flying back into the crowd. I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen such shameless people. He was the one who suggested the duel, but he said that Chu Tian wanted to humiliate him after he lost. Nangong Yun's beautiful red hair danced in the wind. Her bright eyes swept across the crowd. If anyone dares to interfere, I will cripple him. Miss Nangong, thank you. Chu Tian was still calm. He grabbed Han Xiaolong and lifted him up. Let's play a little game. This game is called I Ask, You Answer. Han Xiaolong trembled in fear. I don't want to play. If you answer correctly, you'll be fine. If you answer incorrectly, I will cripple one of your limbs. When all four limbs are crippled, I will break your neck. Do you understand me? Han Xiaolong howled. Grandmaster, save me. Chu Tian chuckled. Wrong answer. Gotcha. The sound of bones breaking rang out. Han Xiaolong's blood-curdling screams reverberated. Chu Tian's ruthlessness and decisiveness sent chills down everyone's spine. Li Chongyun stood up angrily. This person is cruel and evil. I cannot watch this anymore. President Li, please conduct yourself with dignity. Zhang Liqing locked onto him with a powerful aura and, at the same time, said in a leisurely tone, Han Xiaolong suggested a duel to the death. Everyone present heard it. With your status, it's not appropriate for you to interfere. Li Chongyun's face darkened. There was Zhang Liqing, Xiong Tianyin, and Nangong Yin here. Moreover, Han Xiaolong did screw him over. If he forcefully interfered, he might not be able to gain anything. Chu Tian said, let's continue. Stop. I don't want to play anymore. Han Xiaolong cried and shouted, I admit it, I did it. Please let me go. As long as you spare my life, no matter how much it is, I will pay. He regretted it. He was scared. He was the successor of Blackwater Commerce. He could inherit the family fortune of millions at any time. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to die like this. Originally, He thought that he could easily defeat Southern Cloud Commerce. He never expected that Zhang Liqing, Xiong Tianyin, and Nan Gongyan would stand on the side of Southern Cloud Commerce. Even more unexpected was the appearance of the devil-like Chu Tian. Hopeless. Li Changyun's face turned pale as he coldly harumphed and left. F***ck. Did he go soft so quickly? Not interesting at all. Chu Tian threw Han Xiao Long on the ground and kicked him hard. Were his Captain Meng's wife and children locked up? Speak. In my family's dungeon, alive, still alive. I was wrong, don't kill me. F***ck. Nan Gongyan cursed. She stretched out her snow-white legs and rushed in front of Chu Tian. He still dares to set up a private dungeon. Let me kill this bastard with one palm. Han Xiao Long hurriedly begged for mercy. Eldest senior sister, on account of being from the same sect, please spare me this time. Being from the same sect? You still dare to talk about being from the same sect? Nan Gongyan's beautiful eyes widened. When you were planning to destroy Meng Yingying's family, did you ever think about being from the same sect? Scum like you, this old lady, have always killed whoever I see. Watch my palm. Wait, whether to kill or not, it's not up to us. Chu Tian, what do you mean? Get out of my way. Chu Tian explained. Since he is the main culprit, then let the victim deal with him. Good. Nan Gongyan's eyes lit up. Ha ha. I like it. Han Xiao Long was scared out of his wits. No, I have a lot of women. I have a lot of money. Chu Tian, as long as you let me go this time, I'll give it all to you. I'll give it all to you. Nan Gongyan grabbed Han Xiao Long and threw him into the crowd. Not only is this guy the mastermind behind all this, he even used you idiots as a tool. Do as you see fit. Kill him. Bastard. You dare lie to us. Quickly return my brother's life. Countless people rushed forward, instantly drowning Han Xiao Long. Han Xiao Long's pitiful screams stopped. About 10 minutes later, the crowd gradually dispersed. The ground was covered with minced meat. Han Xiao Long could no longer be seen with the naked eye. Who would have thought that it would end like this? Meng Qingwu's body trembled slightly. Her eyes were moist. For so many years she had been suppressed by Blackwater commerce. Today, she finally got her revenge. But there was no joy of revenge in her heart, only deep exhaustion and sorrow. 6 years ago it was like this. Today, it was still like this. For a little profit, must so many people's lives be sacrificed? Meng Qingwu was really tired. She was even thinking that after this matter was over, she would dissolve the company and live a peaceful life. Chu Tian, it was this mysterious youngster who saved her family. Chu Tian felt Meng Qingwu's gaze, turned back and smiled at her, mouthing, "No need to thank me." Seeing his frivolous look, Meng Qingwu felt a burst of grievance in her heart. "Forget it. Seeing that you have helped me this time, I will not pursue this matter. But if there is a next time, I will fight to the death with you. This matter happened in Southern Cloud Pharmacy. I cannot shirk my responsibility, so I am willing to compensate the victims for some of their losses and find a cure for everyone." Meng Qingwu took the initiative to stand out. However, this time it was obviously a conspiracy plan by the Han family and Blackwater Commerce. We cannot let the real culprit go. Southern Cloud Commerce is willing to mobilize all the guards to help everyone take revenge and seek justice. Hearing this, everyone was moved to tears. President Meng Qingwu, we have misunderstood you. That's right. We cannot let the real culprit go. Brothers, get your weapons. Flatten Blackwater Commerce. With the help of the entire Southern Cloud Commerce, along with thousands of friends and family of the victims, no matter how strong Blackwater Commerce is, they will not be able to escape unscathed. Meng Qingwu stood in the middle of the boiling crowd. Her tall figure and beautiful face made her look like a goddess worshipped by the people. Her eyes were filled with unswerving determination. Let's go. The crowd was like a raging torrent, under the leadership of Meng Qingwu, madly rushing towards Blackwater Commerce. In this cruel world, kindness to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. If they are not eliminated, there will be another tragedy like housekeeper Zhao and Captain Meng, and there will be more victims. Counterattack begin. Either you die, or I die. When the crowd arrived at the scene, Blackwater Commerce's hundreds of elite guards guarded the main area. The doors were all closed, and not a single one of the higher-ups came out. Han Song pay with his life. Han Song pay with his life. Han Song old dog, get out here. The crowd surrounded Blackwater Commerce tightly, throwing all kinds of fire arrows and torches, igniting the house in a short while. The flames quickly spread. Xiong Tianyin slashed open the back door with one palm. A few people broke into the Han family's dungeon. One of the cells had an ordinary middle-aged woman, an 8- or 9-year-old boy, and a 5- or 6-year-old girl. Meng Yingying recognized with a glance. She is Captain Meng's wife, Auntie Lin. The three of them have been beaten up and were covered with cuts and bruises. The most shocking thing was that each of them were missing 2 or 3 fingers. They were cut off while they were still alive. The middle-aged woman's wound was infected and she was in a coma. The boy was in a trance and talking to himself. He did not even react when someone came in. He probably had a mental breakdown and went crazy. On the contrary, the youngest girl was also very weak. Seeing someone come in, she immediately cried out in fear. Tian, I'm Sister Yingying. Don't be afraid. The girl was too frightened. She was still crying nonstop. Meng Yingying's heart ached as she hugged the girl. The girl's body was covered in scars. 2 of her fingers were gone. Her originally tender skin was covered in maggots. It was almost a bloody mess. Meng Yingying could not help crying. Too cruel. The Han family deserved to die 10,000 times. Why do they have to torture a 5-year-old girl? These goddamn bastards. If I don't raze this place to the ground, I won't be surnamed Nangong. Nangong Yun and Xiong Tianyin were filled with righteous indignation. The 2 of them had fiery temperaments and were straightforward people. They could not hide their anger at all. They wanted to kill everyone in Blackwater Commerce to vent the anger in their hearts. Chu Tian was also angry, but now is not the time to vent. He lightly tapped the boy and girl's bodies, making them fall asleep. They can't hold on much longer. Saving them is more important. Let's go. It was a mess outside. The Han family's strength was much stronger than the Meng family. Many of their guards were retired Ye family mercenaries. Whether it was quality or quantity, they could easily suppress the Meng family's guards. If not for the help of a large group of angry victims, the Meng family rushing to the Han family would definitely be seeking their own death. At this moment, both sides were in a stalemate. The number of casualties was rapidly increasing. Nangong Yun let out a long roar. Her entire body was covered in red light as she jumped out from the dungeon. Like a rocket, she soared into the sky, and like a meteor, she directly fell towards the Han family house. Bang! A heaven-shaking sound echoed. The terrifying power smashed a large hole in the house. Nangong Yun's power was too berserk. The raging flames quickly spread out, accompanied by a violent shockwave, causing the Han family guards to cover their heads and flee in fear. Nangong Yun stood on the high roof, wearing red high-heeled boots, red light muslin clothes, beautiful red hair, snow-white long legs, beautiful face, and surging spirit energy. It made her look like an angry flame goddess. People of Blackwater Commerce, listen up. In 10 seconds, put down your weapons and surrender. Otherwise, I swear on Nangong Yun's identity that you will have no place in this city. The mayor's daughter. The people of Blackwater Commerce were all shocked. She is only the mayor's daughter. She doesn't have any position. What qualifications does she have to represent the mayor? One of the middle-aged men holding a large sword changed his expression. He immediately shouted, "Defend the family. Fight to the end. Our Han family is innocent. The mayor does not have the qualifications to destroy Blackwater Commerce. These people are provoking us. They will be severely punished." The middle-aged man was Han Hao, the vice president of Blackwater Commerce. His prestige was very high. The Han family guards immediately became excited. That's right. Blackwater Commerce's backing was strong. Every year, they contributed a large amount of tax to South Sky City. Even the mayor had to give them some face. As long as they could hold on until the army arrived, they would definitely be able to save them. At this time, 400 to 500 soldiers wearing public security armor appeared. Like a tide, they quickly rushed into the scene. An officer loudly shouted, "I am South Sky City's public security general. You dare to have a large-scale fight in South Sky City. You simply have no respect for the law. All of you put down your weapons." Han Hao revealed a trace of joy. "General Zhao, say my Blackwater commerce." This officer was actually a trusted aide of the Ye family. He was also the Han family's backer. As long as this person represented the government, this crisis could be resolved. General Zhao pretended not to know the situation. "What is going on here?" Han Hao tearfully scolded. "Meng Qingwu, that snake woman. She directed her own act, cruelly killed my nephew, and even incited the masses to cause trouble for my Blackwater commerce. My Blackwater commerce has been established for 6 to 7 years. We have always been law-abiding. When have we done anything wrong to South Sky City? Today my nephew died a tragic death. Meng Qingwu incited the masses to openly attack my Han family's headquarters, causing Blackwater commerce to suffer heavy losses. Where's the justice? Where's the justice? Such vile savagery, if we don't punish them severely, wouldn't it chill the hearts of South Sky City's citizens?" When everyone heard this, they became angry. Han Hao still had the face to say this? What did he mean by chill the hearts of South Sky City citizens? If Blackwater commerce did not perish today, then it would truly chill the hearts of South Sky City citizens. Chapter 20. Han Hao's tearful face really did look like he was going to cry. General Zhao pretended to be angry as he pulled out his sword and roared with righteous indignation. "Capture all the criminals, especially the culprit, Meng Qingwu. Who dares arrest her? Kill without mercy." Nan Gongyun's face turned cold. "Enough," General Zhao righteously said. "Miss, please respect yourself. I am loyal to my duty and abide by the laws of the kingdom. Even if I have to give up my life, I will not hesitate. Even if the mayor comes, I will have a clear conscience. Don't help the wicked anymore. Tiannan City belongs to the citizens, not the Nangong family's private territory. If this matter were to spread to the main city, even the mayor would not be able to bear the responsibility. Nanyuan commerce cannot be forgiven and must be punished." This General Zhao was an actor. That look, that expression, that awe-inspiring righteous attitude. If someone who was not in the know saw this scene, they would probably praise General Zhao's unyielding character. Nan Gongyun almost exploded with anger. General Zhao is wise and decisive. It is a blessing for Tiannan City. Han Hao revealed a trace of mockery. "Scoundrel, you are not going to surrender. Do you want to rebel?" General Zhao waved his hand. "Prepare for battle." Hundreds of soldiers pulled out their weapons and assumed a battle formation. Han Hao also raised his weapon. "Sons of the Han family, take up your weapons and defend the family's honor. Let us help General Zhao." They were surrounded from the front and back. Aggrieved, hateful. Everyone was so angry they almost spat blood. Their faces were full of anger and unwillingness. The Han family's guards were already very strong, and now there was a law enforcement force. If this continued, they would not be able to gain anything. The Han family's backing was too strong. Were they just going to let it go like this? At this time, a powerful sound wave, like it could topple the mountains and overturn the seas, suddenly descended. The aura was like a terrifying wild beast, causing everyone's heart to tremble. "You are not putting me, the general of Tiannan City, in your eyes." Xiong Tianyan laughed. Big Brother came at the right time. An elite cavalry unit surged into the scene like a silver torrent. Every single one of them was filled with an iron-blooded aura. This was an army of tigers and wolves that had been honed on the battlefield. A burly and majestic giant walked out from the crowd. This person was wearing an awe-inspiring general's armor, and his whole body was filled with a cold aura. He was about 40 years old, and from his face, he looked somewhat similar to Xiong Tianyan. Tiannan City's first general, Xiong Bing, General Zhao, who was awe-inspiring and righteous a moment ago, was now sweating profusely out of fear, and his legs were trembling uncontrollably. He didn't expect that he would provoke such a character. Han Hao revealed a fearful look and said, "General Xiongbing." Xiongbing suddenly opened his eyes in anger, and a greenish-white essence force gushed out. A bone-chilling cold current gushed out, covering everything within a few hundred meters in a layer of frost. Ho! An incomparably cruel roar came from behind Xiongbing, and the greenish-white essence force condensed, transforming into an incomparably huge bear. A savage aura that seemed to come from ancient times instantly spread out in all directions, causing the faces of the hundreds of security soldiers to turn pale and trembling to the point where they couldn't even hold their weapons steadily. Summoning Source Spirit, an awakened soul cultivator. Nangong Yun and Xiong Tianyin could summon the power of their source spirits, but they couldn't summon the entire source spirit. But Xiongbing could directly summon the Blizzard Bear source spirit, so it could be seen that Xiongbing was a genuine awakened soul cultivator. Han Hao revealed an aghast expression. "What do you want to do?" "What I want to do? Of course I want to kill you." The Blizzard Bear source spirit blossomed with light, releasing the vigorous power of Blizzard. With extreme speed, Xiongbing punched out, and Han Hao was first turned into an ice statue by the surging power of ice, and then hit by the whistling fist wind. The entire ice statue shattered into pieces. In Tianan City, an awakened soul cultivator was simply in existence at the top of the pyramid. Ordinary people might not even meet one in their lifetime, not to mention seeing an awakened soul cultivator in action. Xiong Tianyan's source spirit was the lava bear. Xiongbing's source spirit was the blizzard bear. The attributes of the two brothers' source spirits were completely different, but they were both dual attributed source spirits. Moreover, Xiongbing's cultivation was much higher than Xiong Tianyan's. Xiong Tianyan could currently only awaken a small portion of his source spirit's power, but Xiongbing could completely release the power of his source spirit to strengthen himself, so their battle strength was not on the same level. "You should also die. General, spare me." Before General Zhao could even kneel down and beg for mercy, Xiongbing also threw a punch at him. Without any suspense, he was first frozen into an ice sculpture by Xiongbing's ice ability, and then torn apart on the spot by the violent fist wind. One was the Blackwater Commerce's vice president. The other was Tianan City's General Zhao. These two important people, Xiongbing did not even give them a reason. He killed them on the spot. He had strength. Why did he need a reason to kill? Xiong Tianyin laughed. Delightful. Delightful. These bastards deserved it. But to die under Big Brother's blizzard fist, it was really too easy for them. Xiongbing slowly withdrew his terrifying source spirit and fiercely stared at Xiong Tianyin. "You're already 30 years old. Every time you cause trouble, don't make me wipe your ass." Xiongbing did not have any way to deal with his little brother. His eyes swept over Meng Qingwu and the others, impatiently waving his hand. This general was ordered to investigate. "Now that I understand the situation, tell me the whole story again." Xiongbing was Tianan City's first general. He had a high position and power. His status was noble, almost second only to the mayor. How could Meng Qingwu dare to be negligent? She immediately described everything in detail. Xiongbing revealed an angry expression. "Good Blackwater Commerce, do you really think no one will dare to make a move just because you have some power behind you? This general will give them a taste of my power today. All soldiers seal off the scene, arrest everyone in the Han family, confiscate the Han family's property. If you meet anyone who resists, kill them." Yes, the entire army began to move. "It's over, it's all over." Blackwater Commerce was completely finished. The Han family all surrendered, they were all shackled, all of their property was taken out, and the entire family was completely confiscated. Not long after, an officer ran in front of Xiongbing, reporting to the general, "We've done a head count. We haven't found Han's song, but we've found a secret passage. Many of the Han family's valuables have been taken away." Xiongbing said with a cold expression, "That bastard ran away?" Immediately pass down the order, make a wanted poster, and put him on the wanted list of the entire city. On the other side, Meng Qingwu was busy treating the victims. The river Styx was very troublesome, but there was a solution in this era, so Chu Tian was too lazy to open his mouth. Because exposing too much knowledge wasn't a good thing. What if he was used as a lab rat by others? After the injured were treated, Meng Qingwu found Chu Tian. Come out, I have something to tell you. This girl wouldn't be so vengeful, right? Could it be that she was still thinking about the spanking? Meng Qingwu saw Chu Tian's evasive and wary eyes, and her pretty face flushed red. She stomped her feet in anger. What are you thinking? We're even now. You're not allowed to mention it in the future. If a third person knows, She made a chopping motion with her hand. Chu Tian blinked and said straightforwardly, I understand. I definitely won't tell anyone about the spanking. Why are you shouting so loudly? Meng Qingwu was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She didn't know why, but as long as she was facing Chu Tian, she would become especially irritable. She took a few deep breaths to calm herself down, but the exaggerated rise and fall of her chest made Chu Tian stare blankly. Seeing this, she gritted her teeth again. She wanted to thank him properly, but in the end, she squeezed out 2 words, thank you. Chu Tian didn't care at all and waved his hand in a carefree manner. We're family. There's no need to say thank you. You're treating me like an outsider. But you have to be obedient in the future. If something like this happens again, it won't be as simple as a spanking. The 2 willowy eyebrows of the young miss were about to reach the sky. This was another sign before she went berserk. Sigh, this girl is beautiful enough, but her temper is too irritable. It's better to cherish life and stay away from the young miss. Chu Tian hurriedly ran away. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. Wait. Meng Qingwu stopped him again, gritted her teeth, and reminded him, you haven't caught Han Song, so be careful when you go out in the future. If this guy comes for revenge, the first thing he'll do will be you. Chu Tian was a bit flattered. The young miss specifically came back to warn me? This attitude of taking the initiative to express goodwill to me, does it mean that she cares and values me more? This kind of thing really had to be guarded against because the past 2 days had been too eye-catching and it was easy to attract trouble. But Han Song was nothing to worry about. He was just afraid that old man Li Chongyun would come looking for trouble. Chu Tian returned to the house, beckoned with his finger, and said, Old man Zhang over there, come over here for a moment. Zhang Liqing was drinking tea with Xiong Tianyin in the room and immediately walked in front of Chu Tian. Meng Qingwu entered the room, and when she saw this scene, she was so angry that she almost vomited blood and wanted nothing more than to hack Chu Tian. Zhang Liqing didn't have a high position like Xiong Bing, but his influence was very strong, and he actually came at a young man's beck and call. Where was the dignity of a master? Where was the virtue of young people respecting the old and loving the young? Chu Tian sat down without any awareness and looked at the cautious old man next to him. He first picked up his tea and took a sip, and then said, Luckily I had you to hold the fort today, or else that old man Li would have already killed me. Zhang Liqing hurriedly waved his hand. It's my duty. I haven't messed around like this in many years, and after making a scene today, I feel like I'm 30 years younger. Your character isn't bad. It seems like I misunderstood you before. Chu Tian wrote a list of ingredients and handed it to the old man. How about this? You go and collect the ingredients on a list. The heart-corroding poison antidote that you want is made from these ingredients. You can indeed be 30 years younger, as long as the poison is cured. Zhang Liqing was overjoyed. The heart-corroding poison had tortured him for 15 years. He had flipped through ancient books and searched for alchemy masters, but couldn't find a way to cure it. But Chu Tian gave him hope. So how could Zhang Liqing not be happy? Zhang Liqing bowed deeply. The grace of rebirth, I will never be able to repay. Hey, you're already so old. Why are you saying this? Chu Tian glanced at Xiong Tianyin and said, Xiong Tianyin, don't you want to worship Meng Ying as your master? Right now, you have a chance. Go and refine this antidote. As long as you could do it, I will agree. Xiong Tianyin revealed a look of ecstasy and immediately took the list of ingredients: purple patterned fruit, carrying grass, 9 netherworms, black blood oak sap. Strange, these are all poisons. Chu Tian replied, the heart-corroding poison is hard to cure with normal methods. The best way is to fight poison with poison. I will give you the alchemy array blueprint. This kind of antidote is difficult to refine. You can ask Old Man Zhang or find someone else to help. As for whether or not you can complete it, that will depend on your talent. Xiong Tianyin looked at the alchemy array blueprint, and his eyes almost popped out. His thick and dark face instantly turned purplish-red. What kind of alchemy array was this? He couldn't understand it at all, but Xiong Tianyin swore that this was the most perfect alchemy array he had ever seen in his life. There were many runes and diagrams on it that were almost unheard of, and the structure was also unimaginable. Looking at it as a whole, it was like a piece of art. He felt every cell in his body screaming. He couldn't wait to draw it out. If he could thoroughly study this alchemy array, then Xiong Tianyin would obtain an unimaginable harvest. The two said their goodbyes and left in a hurry. What Chu Tian gave to Xiong Tianyin was obviously not the 5 elements 80,000 alchemy array. That thing in this era was comparable to the knowledge of the gods, so of course it couldn't see the light of day. Otherwise the consequences would be unthinkable. The current Chu Tian could at most be called a super genius, but geniuses were everywhere these days, so it wasn't that strange. But if the 5 elements 80,000 alchemy array was exposed, then it wouldn't be as simple as being a monstrous genius. Chu Tian would definitely be captured by the top powers of the continent to be dissected and studied like a lab rat. The heart-corroding poison antidote was a level 2 antidote pill. This antidote pill was special and unorthodox, so it couldn't be refined with a common alchemy array. It had its own unique refining method, but Chu Tian's spirit energy was far from enough, so he couldn't refine it. Xiong Tianyin hadn't reached the awakened soul realm, so the difficulty of refining a level 2 pill was high, but he would just treat it as a test. If he couldn't even pass this test, then it meant that Xiong Tianyin's talent in alchemy was just average, so there was no need to learn Chu Tian's knowledge. Meng Qingwu's pair of bright eyes stirred up a strange expression. She really couldn't see through this guy. He was so young and had such profound knowledge. Why would he become a slave in a slave market? At this time, Meng Yingying brought Nangong Yin back home. Meng Yingying gloomily said, Aunt Lin has been treated. Her life is no longer in danger. So we sent them home to recuperate. Xiaohu and Tian Tian seemed to have suffered a big blow, so I left them a few hundred gold coins on behalf of the family, so that they won't have to worry about food and clothing in the future. I hope they can walk out of the shadows sooner. When Meng Qingwu heard these words, her beautiful face was filled with melancholy that couldn't be dispersed. Although Captain Meng did something wrong, you can't take it out on your family. Find someone from the commerce to take care of them. Sister, what do you plan to do next? Meng Qingwu, in order to set up the medicine market, was ambitious and went all out. She spent more than half of the company's funds to buy equipment, formulas, and ingredients. She also hired pharmacists from outside the city with high salaries. However, after this setback, Southern Cloud Medicine Store would definitely not be able to continue operating. Now that a large amount of investment went down the drain, they also had to pay the alchemist's breach of contract and compensate the victims for their losses. Southern Cloud Commerce would inevitably fall into a crisis of debt. Meng Qingwu was disheartened and dejectedly said, I plan to split up and sell off the business to pay off the debt. How much the commerce can have. If we can't continue, then we'll close it. We'll leave and find a peaceful place to live out the rest of our days in peace. Sister, you're only 22 years old. You have to pull yourself together. You can't just give up like this. Meng Yingying was very worried about her negative sister and immediately winked at Chu Tian. It doesn't matter if Southern Cloud Commerce can't continue. Sister's ability is so strong. If you have the right opportunity, you will definitely reach even higher heights. Chu Tian, am I right? Chapter 21. Meng Yingying was hoping that Chu Tian would speak up for her and encourage her sister, making her excited again. In the end, that pair of sparkling eyes filled with hints was completely ignored by a certain person. Chu Tian rubbed his stomach and weakly said, I haven't eaten for a day. My stomach is already flat from hunger. Come to my hut. I'll treat you to a meal. Meng Ying puffed out her cheeks and stared at him, looking like she wanted to bite him. Why are you showing such a fierce expression? You haven't eaten for a day. What if you're starving? Chu Tian was very strong, completely ignoring the little girl's dissatisfaction. Eating is the most important thing right now. Obediently eat. Be obedient. Truly no comprehension. The second young miss was very dissatisfied, but there was nothing she could do. In the evening, the three girls arrived in front of Chu Tian's hut. Nan Gongyun was stunned on the spot. The hut was old and broken. It didn't even have a window. It was dark, stuffy, and hot. Letting a person live in this kind of place was simply torture. Chu Tian lived in this kind of ghost place. A super genius received this kind of treatment. Nan Gongyun felt injustice for Chu Tian. Chu Tian really had a good temper. If it was this old lady, she would have already destroyed the Meng family. When Meng Ying entered the hut, she acted like the mistress of the house, picking up the teapot and pouring her spirit energy. Chu Tian will go get the ingredients. You guys drink a cup of tea first. A source energy array appeared under the teapot, and the tea inside the teapot began to heat up. In just a few seconds, it began to boil, and what was poured out was hot tea. Nan Gongyun's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. This is a bit interesting. How can a teapot automatically heat up? Meng Ying blinked her eyes. There's a heating array that Chu Tian left here. Nan Gongyun excitedly slapped her thigh. Wonderful. Truly wonderful. This old lady has lived for so long, and I never knew that source energy arrays could be used to boil tea. Meng Qingwu's clear eyes also slightly flashed. It's hot and stuffy here. Should we go somewhere else? Nan Gongyun was so hot that she was sweating profusely. Her sweat had soaked through her thin muslin clothes, and her milky white skin was faintly discernible. It made her look less wild and fiery than usual, but more seductive. At this moment, hoo-hoo-hoo, a comfortable breeze blew from both sides. Nan Gongyun felt refreshed, but at the same time, she felt very strange. Wind? Where did the wind come from? What the hell? Meng Ying giggled as she patted the wall. Isn't it magical? This is the source energy array left behind by Chu Tian. Although it doesn't have much use, it can move the air in the room, so it can create convection. Good stuff. It was definitely something good. I must have that brat Chu Tian help me install a few at home. Nan Gongyun's eyes lit up, and she immediately said to Meng Qingwu, Elder Sister Qingwu, what do you think? Meng Qingwu's brows slightly knit as she silently thought of something. She was already a bit absent-minded. Who would have thought that Meng Ying would mysteriously say, This doesn't count for anything. I'll show you something even more interesting. Nan Gongyun was a very curious person as she excitedly clapped her hands. Really? Quickly, quickly. Elder Sister wants to see it. Quickly let Elder Sister see it. Pa! The small room lit up. The dark and gloomy room became bright. The two of them were shocked. When they looked up, the two beautiful faces were stunned, as if they had seen something unbelievable. Their mouths opened so wide that an apple could be stuffed in. This time Nan Gongyun was completely stunned. This is truly divine. The little glass cover can even shine. Eldest senior sister doesn't understand. Meng Ying rarely acted cool, so she proudly sat down. Let me tell you, this is called a light bulb. Nan Gongyun scratched her head. Light bulb? Such a strange name. I've never heard of it before. Meng Qingwu's voice trembled a bit. This wouldn't have been invented by Chu Tian, right? Of course it was invented by Chu Tian. After drawing several source energy arrays and instilling spirit energy into them, they can interact with each other and finally produce light. One was a respectful and fearful eldest senior sister. The other was a dear elder sister. When she saw their shocked and admiring expressions, there was no need to mention how proud Meng Ying's heart was. This was clearly Chu Tian's invention, but she didn't know why, but it gave her a lot of face, as if it was her own invention. Strange genius. A rare genius in this world. How can a normal person invent this kind of thing? Chu Tian brought in a large pile of materials flame pork, 8-horned alligator meat, 100-year black jade lotus root, scarlet cloud pepper, 3-sun fruit, white ginseng. Chu Tian brought in a large amount of materials. Half of them were demon beast meat, and the other half were precious herbs. Meng Yingying jumped up and said with puffed cheeks, "Where's my favorite steak? What kind of mess is this? What steak? No taste." Chu Tian picked up a pot with a source energy array drawn on it. "Look, you're in luck today. This one will personally cook and make a few dishes for you." "What? You can cook with this?" Meng Yingying and Nangong Yun were both stunned. Chu Tian poured oil into the pot and heated it. The oil was extracted from demon beasts, and soon a rich fragrance filled the air. Then he put in slices of pork and used the source energy array to disperse the energy in the demon beast meat, allowing the meat to be cooked at a visible speed. Then he added in the scarlet cloud pepper and various other condiments. A plate of fragrant spicy meat was finished after around 20 minutes. Spicy meat, stir-fried lotus root, braised alligator meat, several fragrant and tasty dishes were brought to the table. The names of the dishes didn't sound strange, but the ingredients used were demon beast meat and precious herbs. The continent had never eaten like this before. Chu Tian took out a large pile of herbs and a silver-scaled fish. "I'll make a pot of fish soup. You can eat first." "No need to be polite. Let me have a taste first." Meng Yingying quickly grabbed a pair of chopsticks and placed several large slices of flaming pork into her mouth. Her cheeks bulged out, looking very cute. She chewed a few times and was stunned for a few seconds before continuing to refuse. She chewed faster and faster as her eyes lit up and her face turned red. She danced around, so fragrant, so tender, so spicy, so delicious. This was too exaggerated. "This is really not bad." Two elder sisters quickly have a taste. Meng Qingwu doubtfully tasted a piece of black jade lotus. This was a very precious herb and was used to make healing ointments and potions. However, when Chu Tian used it as a stir-fry ingredient with the meat, it tasted delicious. There was a lingering fragrance that made people feel intoxicated, making them want to swallow their own tongues. Unbelievable. Unimaginable. Could herbs be eaten like vegetables? Nangong Yun ate a piece of braised octagonal alligator meat. The meat was firm and full of tenacity. It was simply too delicious. The protective energy in the demon beast meat had completely disintegrated. It was not much different from normal food. However, the quality of the meat was far better than normal food. There was nothing to say about the nutrition. It was simply unbelievable. Demon beast meat and herbs could be processed in this way. Not only did it taste great, it could also fully develop the nutrients. This kind of food cooked with demon beast meat and herbs could definitely increase one's strength. Although it did not have an immediate effect like medicine, it could very gently strengthen and improve one's physique. It was not that the continent did not have the main method of cooking demon beast meat. In fact, any large family or large force would require their disciples to eat a certain amount of herbs or demon beast meat every day to strengthen their physique and achieve the effect of supporting their cultivation. However, cooking demon beast meat was relatively troublesome. It required a strong and hot fire to roast the demon beast meat. Without a certain level of ability or equipment, it cannot be done. As for the taste, it was even more difficult to guarantee. The demon beast meat that people ate was generally old and coarse. It was almost impossible to swallow and could not be compared to delicacies. There was no doubt this kind of easy, efficient, and fast source energy cooking method would definitely have great market prospects. There was no need to think about it. It would definitely make a lot of money. Understood. Finally understood. Meng Yingying secretly glanced at Chu Tian, who was busy cooking the soup. Her heart slowly flowed with a trace of warmth. Although he looked carefree and frivolous on the outside, he was actually a very meticulous person. It was not that he did not understand her hint. As for persuading her verbally, it was better to use a more direct method. "You're smart." Second Miss was very satisfied. "I won't argue with you this time." When Chu Tian brought the fish soup up, dripping with sweat, the table was in a mess. The 3 dishes were empty, and the chili had all been eaten by Meng Yingying. The three beauties had just finished their battle. Their heads were covered in sweat, and they looked very satisfied. Their slender white legs looked even more attractive under the light. Chu Tian was dumbfounded. Damn, then what am I supposed to eat? Nan Gongyan picked her teeth and seemed to want to continue. You dilly-dally yourself. Who else can you blame? Quickly bring the fish soup over. Big sister still hasn't eaten enough. Stop. This is mine. Less nonsense. There were at least 5 kinds of herbs in the silver scale fish soup. Not only did it greatly increase the taste of the soup, it also greatly increased the nutritional value. It had the effect of regulating the body and strengthening the physique. Chu Tian relied on pills to increase his source energy to the 3rd rank of body refinement, but his body's strength still needed to be improved. It was not impossible to use pills to strengthen the body, but taking pills for a long time would easily make the body dependent, which was not good for long-term development. Food was undoubtedly a relatively gentle and stable method. The three beauties did not care about their image and did not understand the tiring Chu Tian at all. In a flash, they divided up more than half of the fish. Chu Tian was reduced to the point where he could only drink the soup. Nangong Yin originally had high hopes, and now she was full of longing. Source energy cooking is indeed promising. Sister Qingwu, this southern cloud commerce is riddled with holes. Leaving it alone is very troublesome. Why not sell it and start a new business with us? Meng Qingwu was indeed a little moved. Although source energy cooking is good, I don't know if there are any limitations. Chu Tian, can you introduce it? Meng Yingying saw that her sister was interested and immediately scratched her head. Sister asked you a question. Hurry up and say it. Chu Tian drank the last mouthful of soup and helplessly introduced. Source energy cooking is a safe and convenient technique. Its core technique is a special type of cooking source energy array. In short, there are no major flaws. Meng Qingwu could not believe it. There really aren't any flaws. If I had to say there are any limitations, there are only 2. First, the limitations of the tools. Second, the limitations of the chef's cultivation. A level 1 source energy array can cook level 1 food, and a level 2 source energy array can cook level 2 food. In other words, the higher the level of the food, the stronger the source energy array and the higher the chef's cultivation. The black iron pot we are currently using can only hold a level 1 array. A level 2 source energy array is too strong, and the black iron pot can't handle it. We need to use black iron to make the pot, and black iron is 10 times more expensive than black iron. How could this be considered a flaw? This higher level source energy array, of course it needed a higher level carrier and a higher level source energy to activate it. This was something everyone knew. So to cook level 2 demon beast meat, you first need to find black iron or other high-level metal to make the source energy pot. At the same time, you need an awakened soul realm chef to personally cook. Only then can you activate the level 2 source energy array. There were only a few dozen awakened soul realm experts in Tianan City. Which one of them didn't have a high status? Who would want to be a chef? Actually, a level 1 source energy array was more than enough, and the market was hard to imagine. Chu Tian saw that the opportunity was ripe and bluntly said, I have plans to start a company. However, I don't have any power or money right now. If you're willing to help me as a partner, I will naturally give you some of the shares. How about it? Are you interested in doing something big? Yes, of course. Nangong Yin was the first to stand up. Count me in. Meng Yingying raised her hand and said, I want to join. Meng Qingwu's eyes lit up as she directly asked, What is the name of your company? Chu Tian did not even think before saying, Miracle Commerce. Several voices of agreement rang out at the same time. Nangong Yun's eyes lit up. This name is very good. Light bulb? Source energy pot? This was an invention that could shock the entire kingdom, but in Chu Tian's eyes, it was just a foundation. Even in the era he lived in, it had already been eliminated. Flying in the sky, running on the ground, swimming in the water, from communication tools to war weapons, from super source energy calculators to source energy array internet, from mechanical puppets to artificial intelligence. All of these wonderful things from tens of thousands of years in the future, As long as the time and conditions were right, Chu Tian would have the opportunity to realize them. Right now, whether it was materials, abilities, talents, regional resources, or production levels, they were all too weak. So what Chu Tian could think of, he could not do. Rice had to be eaten one bite at a time. The road had to be taken one step at a time. If he took too big a step, it would be easy to tear his eggs. Looking at the world as a whole, Tianan City is very small. This country is very small, nothing more than a drop in the ocean. Once we set sail, we are destined to embark on a long journey. Chu Tian's body released a kind of passion that could bewitch people. Life is too boring. I want to become stronger bit by bit. I want to change this world bit by bit. Come with me. Meng Qingwu, Meng Yingying, and Nangong Yun's bodies trembled, because in that moment, Chu Tian seemed to have changed into a different person. His ambition was too big. Was it really possible? But the three of them were looking forward to it. They were also very excited. Life was short. Why not give it a try? They still had to have dreams. What if it came true? Chapter 22. In 2 days, the mess was cleaned up. Meng Qingwu brought a few people to apply for the registration of the new company. The establishment of a new company was unavoidable. Applying for the registration was only the first step, but with Nangong Yun's connections, the complicated procedures could be quickly completed. Suddenly, the sound of wild beasts howling came from the street ahead. Look, wolf riders. It's the Wolf Fong mercenaries. The Wolf Fong mercenaries are giving out benefits to the citizens. Everyone go grab them. The citizens' eyes were filled with awe and worship. The Wolf Fong mercenaries were one of the 3 largest mercenary groups under the Ye family. Their overall strength was very strong. Even the mayor had to give way. After all, this was a large mercenary group with tens of thousands of elite soldiers. At this moment, hundreds of awe-inspiring mercenaries were leading giant wolves, giant cows, and other magic beasts onto the street. Each magic beast back was filled with red wine, beer, cooking oil, bread, flour, rice, and they were giving them to the citizens for free. Everyone, don't fight. Everyone has a share. Everyone has a share. The Wolf Fong mercenaries will be opening a branch in Tianan City. This is the branch president, Yi Han. Please support him in the future. The citizens happily left after receiving the free benefits, inevitably singing the praises of the Wolf Fong mercenaries. This group of grandsons really had a way to stir up trouble. A young man who was not even 20 years old sat on the back of a war wolf and was surrounded by mercenaries. He wore silver armor and looked mighty and extraordinary. His appearance could be considered handsome, but his eyes were cold and sharp, and he had a strong and arrogant aura. Isn't that Sir Yi Xiong's eldest son, Yi Han? This is our Tianan City's famous genius. Didn't Sir Yi Xiong send him to Zhongzhou City to cultivate a year ago? Why did he get sent back now? There were 8 large states in the southern summer country, and Central State was one of them. The Ye family's headquarters was in Zhongzhou City, and Tianan City was just an ordinary city. Yi Xiong was an elder of the Ye family. He was sent to Tianan City 10 years ago to take care of the Ye family's business in Tianan City. Among Yi Xiong's many sons, he valued 2 of them the most. His youngest son, Yi Feng. His eldest son was Yi Han. Yi Feng was talented in alchemy, so he was sent to learn under Li Changyan. His eldest son was talented in cultivation, so he was sent to the middle state to use the family's resources to grow. When Yi Han's cold eyes swept across the crowd, he suddenly noticed a tall and sexy figure. He immediately licked his lips and rode his wolf over slowly. President Meng Qingwu, I haven't seen you for more than a year. You've become even more beautiful and charming. Meng Qingwu replied coldly, Thank you for the compliment. I think you're probably curious as to why I came back. You're thinking too much. I'm not interested at all. Yi Han's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. A branch of the Wolf's Fong Chamber of Commerce will be established in Tianan City. I've already purchased all of the Han family's businesses, and now they're all under my management. Speaking of this, I really have to thank you. Meng Qingwu bit her lips, but didn't say anything. Yi Han arrogantly raised his head and said, I have to say, Southern Cloud Commerce has gone a bit too far this time. This time, even the Yef family in the main city of the Middle State has noticed you. In fact, you should know in your heart that in front of the Middle State Yef family, you're not even an ant. We can crush you to death with just a flick of our fingers. A naked threat. She really didn't think of it. Meng Qingwu's mood was a bit heavy. The wolf had just left, and now the tiger had come. This was a big problem. Right now, they were preparing to establish a new chamber of commerce. If there was such a frightening opponent eyeing them covetously, she was afraid that no matter what they did, their hands and feet would be tied. Yihan narrowed his eyes and looked at Chu Tian next to him. If I'm not wrong, this is the Chu Tian who seriously injured my little brother? It's me, your grandfather. Chu Tian never knew how to write the word polite. How can you be so shameless? Young miss is not interested in talking to you, yet you still have the cheek to come and strike up a conversation. Scram, don't block the way. Yihan's complexion immediately changed. Several mercenaries pulled out their weapons at the same time. How dare you? Yihan waved his hand for the mercenaries to put away their weapons. The corner of his mouth hung a trace of a slightly playful grin. Tiannan City's family almost completely destroyed your Meng family. In these 6 years, our strength has increased several times. Not to mention, we also have the support of a large family. This time, I want to see how you will withstand our anger. Meng Qingwu and her sister's faces paled. This was basically admitting that what happened 6 years ago was done by them. Could it be that father and mother were really killed by the Yef family? This bastard. Meng Yingying's eyes turned red and was about to rush out, but she was pulled back by Meng Qingwu. Meng Qingwu said to Yihan, Blackwater Commerce ignited the fire and burned themselves. This is something that everyone in Tiannan City knows. Southern Cloud Commerce has already suffered heavy losses. We have no intention of becoming enemies with you. I hope that the Yef family will be magnanimous. Meng Yingying was indignant and confused. Why did she have to lower her voice to this kind of person? They were the enemies who killed her parents. Yihan sat on the battle wolf and looked down at them with an aloof expression. He felt a trace of pleasure in his heart. Since you're begging me so humbly, I'll give you a chance. Cripple Chu Tian's cultivation and hand him over to me. This way, you can be safe for a while. As for the future, it will depend on whether you are obedient or not. Meng Yingying angrily shouted, In your dreams. Rest assured, I do not intend to kill him. I heard that he has a bit of talent. This young master loves talent, so I will let him live. This is already a very generous way to deal with him. Otherwise, based on what he has done, it would not be too much to cut him into pieces. You have no other choice. Hand over Chu Tian or bear the anger of the Yef family. Choose between the two. Think about it yourself. Have you said enough? Chu Tian's face was filled with contempt. He impatiently yawned and suddenly crooked his finger at Nan Gongyun. You come here. Nan Gongyun walked over. What? Chu Tian carelessly waved his hand. With a commanding tone, he said, Help me beat him up. When we split the shares, I will give you a little more. Really? Thank you so much. Nan Gongyun revealed a trace of joy. Sister has been waiting for you to say that. Yihan was very afraid of Nan Gongyun. However, he still did not believe that Nan Gongyun would dare to make a move against him. After all, the power of the Yef family was there. Seeing Nan Gongyun walk over, he was still a little flustered. Your bloodline is only a branch of the Nangong family. Nangong, he finally got the position of mayor. I advise you not to be too arrogant. A strong dragon cannot suppress a snake. If you anger the Yef family, you won't even have the position of mayor. Why don't you try and touch me? What Yihan said was right. Nangong, he was a branch of the family. He was parachuted into Tiannan City to be the mayor. Central State did not have the support of any family. There were also many enemy families. Nangong Yi's foundation in Central State could not even compare to the Xiong family. Therefore, he had to be careful with his words and actions. Otherwise, he would be in danger. The Yef family was a force that could not be underestimated. Nangong, he had repeatedly told his daughter that no matter who she provoked, she must not provoke the Yef family. This was the reason why Yi Han was so fearless. Nan Gongyin did not care. Surnamed Yi, stop acting like a tyrant here. Don't think that I can't see that you're only at the 6th rank of body refinement. In Tiannan City, you can barely be considered a genius. In Central State, you are not even worth a fart. I think it is most likely that the Ye family did not think that you have much value, so they sent you here to manage the business. That's right, my family is a branch of the family. But do you think that the Central State Ye family would offend one of the 3 great families, the Nangong family, for a small character like you? Don't try to flatter yourself. Yi Han's face suddenly became ashen. Nangong Yun's words poked at his sore spot. A year ago, he came to the Central State main city full of hope. He did not think that, as the top genius of Tiannan City, he would find that people with the same level of talent as him were plentiful. Yi Han was not valued at all. After being neglected for a whole year, he voluntarily applied to return home. Then, he encountered the Blackwater Commerce incident and picked up the position of branch president. Nan Gongyin clenched her fists until they made a caw-caw sound. Her body suddenly blossomed with a red light. With a low phoenix cry, she immediately released a strong pressure, causing the surrounding mercenaries to involuntarily take a step back. Nan Gongyin cracked her knuckles. How do you want to hit me? If I want to hit someone, of course I want to hit their face. Did this kind of question still need to be answered? Yi Han's face became pale and his voice began to tremble. If you dare to touch me, I guarantee that your family will not have peace. There is nothing in Tiannan City that this old lady does not dare to do. Nan Gongyun's aura surged. Her whole body was enveloped in red magic power. She flashed through the air like a meteor. Her right hand heavily slapped Yi Han's face, causing him to fall from the wolf's back to the ground. On the spot, a few teeth were knocked out. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. She actually hit him. Yi Han was Yi Xiong's most valued son. At the same time, he was one of the most outstanding geniuses in Tiannan City. At this moment, he had just returned from the Central State to Tiannan City and had become the branch president of the Wolf's Fang Commerce, who knew that as soon as he entered the city, he would be slapped in the face. Where did the Ye family's face go? Yi Han covered his swollen face. His eyes looked like they were about to spit fire. Being slapped in the face in front of everyone was a great humiliation to the arrogant him. You will definitely regret this. Ha! Yi Han received another slap and flew into the crowd. You trash. Aren't you very arrogant? Nan Gongyin grabbed him, her beautiful face fierce. Don't be a coward, fight back. Eldest young master. The mercenaries revealed a panicked expression, but no one dared to make a move against Nan Gongyin. After all, Nan Gongyun's cultivation was at the peak of the 9th level of body refinement. After all, Nan Gongyin was the mayor's daughter. Not to mention, in the whole of Tiannan City, there were not many people who could beat Nan Gongyin. Even if they could, how many people would dare to? Yi Han flew into a rage out of humiliation. Chu Tian, you let a woman help you. What kind of ability is that? In 12 days, Tiannan City will host a summit. If you are a man, then fight me fair and square. Nan Gongyun's eyebrows rose. I will kill you first. Nan Gongyun's temper was explosive, and she had lost her mind. Chu Tian immediately stopped her. That's enough. Yi Han had just been sent back from the Central State, and was also Yi Xiong's eldest son. Although he was humiliated, he could still deal with the 2 slaps. At most, he would only cause trouble for Nan Gongyi. If Nan Gongyin really killed him in a moment of anger, there would be endless trouble. At least, now is not the time. What kind of person was Nan Gongyin? She was a monster who was able to step into the 9th level of body refinement at the age of 18 in Tiannan City, where cultivation resources were scarce. She had a god-level spirit, a super genius with unlimited potential. Her strong personal strength and strong family background allowed her to do whatever she wanted in Tiannan City. Even a mayor could not control her. No one thought that such a witch in front of Chu Tian would be so obedient. Chu Tian looked at Yi Han a few times, and a trace of ridicule flashed in his eyes. I accept your challenge. We'll meet at that meeting in 10 days. Nangong Yun's eyes widened. Are you crazy? You are only at the third level of body refinement. Chu Tian was at the third level of body refinement. Yi Han was at the sixth level of body refinement. The gap between them was not just a little bit. Even if Chu Tian had the ability to enter hyperfocus, it would still be hard for him to defeat Yi Han. After all, the higher the level, the greater the gap between each level. It was impossible to defeat an opponent that was 3 levels higher than him. Don't we still have 10 days? What's the rush? Chu Tian very generously waved his hand. Hurry up and make this guy scram. Just looking at him makes me sick. Didn't you hear? Scram. Nangong Yin stared at Yi Han, her face fierce. Don't let this old lady see you again, or else I'll beat you up every time I see you. Yi Han covered his pig head face, revealing a trace of deep hatred. Today's humiliation will be returned 100 times. Let's go. This group of fierce mercenaries were intimidated by Nangong Yun's despotic power. They all left with their tails between their legs. Yi Han's heart was extremely sullen. Being suppressed by a few monsters in Central State City was fine, but he never thought that he would be humiliated in Tiannan City. Chu Tian, just wait and see. At the meeting, I'll break your bones inch by inch to vent my hatred. Chapter 23. Meng Yingying's delicate cheeks turned red. If they weren't in public, she would have started cheering. Great, really great. Elder sister was too cautious. A great enemy that she had a blood feud with. Why did she have to lower her voice to them? Chu Tian really did not disappoint her, fiercely venting her anger. Meng Qingwu was not as pure as her younger sister. Her eyebrows furrowed as her heart was filled with worry. The new company had just been established, and offending the Ye family was not a wise decision. But since things had come to this, she could not do anything. As for Chu Tian wanting to participate in the summit competition, did he not want his life? Meng Qingwu quickly reminded her. The Tiannan Summit is held once a year. It is the pinnacle gathering of the city's business, political, and military families. The summit has a very important segment called the Genius Competition. It allows the geniuses of the younger generation to compete on the stage. Every family attaches great importance to this, so it is not child's play. Miss Nangong was the champion of the competition 2 years ago, so she should know better. Nangong Yin nodded her head and added, everyone is only allowed to participate in the genius competition once, and the participants cannot be over 20 years old. The competition is related to the distribution of resources, so it is something all the families must fight over. Moreover, the competition is an open arena competition, so don't expect me to help you. Yi Han did not participate last year to avoid me, and last year he went to Central State, so he did not participate either. This time he will definitely win. Meng Yingying heard this. How could this be? Yi Han did not participate for 2 years in a row and had studied in Central State for a year. Now that he was almost 20 years old, he had reached the upper limit of the competition. His strength would definitely be very strong. Not to mention, the other families would also have many experts. Elder sister had brought her to see it once or twice. Every year the competition was very fierce, and there would always be casualties. Chu Tian's cultivation was not high, so wouldn't he be in danger? Meng Yingying used her finger to poke Chu Tian. Hey, don't get involved. Nangong Yin continued to say, that's right, he's purely looking for abuse. Chu Tian became indignant. Do you guys have no confidence in me? How do you know I'll be tortured? Well, I, Chu Tian, have lived for 2 lifetimes and have never been looked down upon by anyone. I was just saying it casually, but now I have to go. The 3 women looked at each other in dismay. Chu Tian had clearly made up his mind, so they could only sigh helplessly. Forget it, just let him join the fun. With Chu Tian's strength, he would probably be eliminated in the preliminaries, so there was no need to worry about him going up against Yi Han. It was probably because of the pressure. For the past 2 days, Chu Tian had been consuming large amounts of medicinal herbs and demon beast meat. At the same time, he had begun to train intensely. The strength of his spirit energy was gradually approaching the peak of the 3rd level. As long as there was a suitable opportunity, he would be able to break through to the fourth level of body refinement. The fourth rank of the body refinement realm was enough for him to compete with Yihan. If he improved a little more, even if it was only the peak of the fourth rank, he would have the confidence to defeat Yihan. In terms of time, it was enough. Other than that, the application for Miracle Commerce was successful, and it was called Miracle Source Energy Array Technology Limited Chamber of Commerce. Currently, the Chamber of Commerce was just an empty shell. It did not have any products, nor did it have any business. It was very low-key, and not many people knew about it. Right now, no one could imagine it. This kind of Chamber of Commerce that was born in a small city in a small country with poor resources would set off an unimaginably strong revolution and shock in the entire continent in the future. Meng Qingwu began to report the situation of the past 2 days. I bought 2 small glass factories and began to prepare for the production of light bulbs. As she spoke, she took out 2 small glass balls from her bosom. These are samples. You guys take a look first. The glass ball was a closed pear shape with a few thin metal pieces inside, like a metal flower bud. These were fire copper pieces used to engrave source energy arrays. The few of them looked at each other and were very satisfied. At least it was much better than the one in Chu Tian's room. Chu Tian sized it up. Overall, it was quite rough. However, the current production level and production technology were limited. It was not realistic to want to make luxurious lamps and lanterns, so they could only make do with it. Meng Qingwu continued to say, I plan to buy a high-class restaurant in the center of South Sky City, preparing to open a source energy restaurant. Only, we have a problem. We are lacking people. The production of light bulbs was almost completely done by hand, so it was impossible for Chu Tian to do it alone. Chu Tian thought it was something big. That's easy. Pick a secret production base and find a group of people who are safe and trustworthy. They also know how to use talismans. I'll give them the production technology. Meng Qingwu's eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. You're this confident in taking out the technology? You wouldn't want me to be responsible for the entire production, right? Chu Tian's mouth dropped open in an exaggerated manner. This will tire me to death. How many beautiful girls will be heartbroken? How many pitiful commoners will suffer? How much damage will the world suffer? Can you afford it? Meng Yingying's face turned red as she scolded. Pay. Narcissistic. The light bulb was a subversive product. The continent's biological lamps and crystal lamps were very expensive. As for candles and oil lamps, they were not easy to use. Other lighting methods were not popular or troublesome. In short, they were not satisfactory. This light bulb was a cheap and practical product. It would definitely cause a big sensation, not to mention its economic value. The commerce would quickly earn its first pot of gold. This was a technology with unlimited prospects. Chu Tian took it out without even blinking. Did he trust her that much? Meng Qingwu's heart was a little moved. In reality, she was thinking too much. The reason why Chu Tian took out the technology without blinking was because he did not put it in his eyes. As the commerce's first product, the earlier it came out the better. South Cloud Commerce had a new pharmaceutical factory. At the beginning, they had considered safety and secrecy, so they built it in the suburbs. It was very sturdy, and the goods and materials were transported through secret passages. This way, it would not be easy for the secret product to be exposed. This pharmaceutical factory had already stopped operating, so was now turned into a secret production base for the light bulb. Meng Qingwu selected 10 trustworthy people and Nangong Yun from the Nangong family's guards. She found 20 people to make up the numbers. These people were not Central State locals, and they were loyal to the Nangong family. From a security point of view, there was no problem. The next day, Chu Tian personally went to the factory to inspect. The production base was in the suburbs, and there were mercenaries guarding it. There were several trusted people inside, so it was a very safe place. Chu Tian gave them the source energy array design for the light bulb. Like this, Miracle Commerce's first production team was formed. After everything was done, Chu Tian did not stop. He rode the beast carriage with Meng Yingying back to the city. Meng Yingying sat in the bumpy beast carriage. Her small face was filled with longing. The day miracle commerce is officially established, the entire South Sky City will be stirred. It really makes people look forward to it. Chu Tian was about to say something. Who would have thought that at this time? A strong sense of danger would come over him. This kind of intuition towards unknown danger had saved Chu Tian countless times. Therefore, Chu Tian believed it without a doubt and acted on reflex. He suddenly jumped over and hugged Meng Yingying. The two of them tightly hugged each other as they fell onto the floor of the carriage. Meng Yingying's young and beautiful body was like a ball of soft and elastic cotton. Meng Yingying was scared silly by Chu Tian. Her face turned red and her heart began to beat faster. Chu Tian, you wouldn't be thinking of doing that to me, right? Pung, pung, pung. 3-4 cold arrows pierced through the carriage. Meng Yingying suddenly woke up, and her small face turned white. Someone wants to assassinate us. Who could it be? There was no time to think. So. Another few arrows were shot in. The arrows were filled with strong spirit energy. It was like shooting through a layer of paper, easily piercing through a few centimeters of the template. Chu Tian covered Meng Yingying's mouth. From the direction of the arrows and the density of the arrows, he made a judgment. Northeast direction, at least 7 or 8 people. Chu Tian picked up Meng Yingying and fiercely slammed the carriage window. The two of them flew out of the carriage and landed heavily on the ground. When Meng Yingying looked back, she saw that the coachman had lost several blood vessels and was now dead. The wildebeest that was pulling the carriage was startled and crashed into a tree, causing the whole carriage to fall to the ground. From the underbrush, more than 10 black-clothed people suddenly came out. The number was even more than they expected. Chu Tian pulled Meng Yingying and shouted, "The forest in front! Quickly hide inside!" The black-clothed people jumped up with astonishing speed. Most of them were at the 6th rank of body refinement. With this kind of strength, even in Tiannan City, they could be considered experts. Nan Yun Commerce's guard, Meng Shan, was only at the peak of the 7th rank. They were definitely a group of well-trained assassins. This place was 5 miles away from Tiannan City. Every day, there were soldiers patrolling to prevent and control the demon beasts. There were also many Tiannan Commerce's material factories, lumberyards, quarries, farms, and so on. Although it was the outskirts, it was still a safe area. Chu Tian had been in seclusion for the past few days. He did not expect that as soon as he went out, he would encounter such a dangerous ambush. Chu Tian could only helplessly take Meng Yingying and escape into the forest. This was very risky. Outside of Tiannan City, the safe area and the dangerous area were clearly divided. This was because the demon beasts were very territorial. Randomly running around could disturb the demon beast territory. If a powerful demon beast was attracted, the consequences would be unthinkable. Their reaction is not slow. A sinister-looking middle-aged man coldly said, "Chase, I want to catch him alive. I want him to live a life worse than death." The black-clothed assassins threw away their bows and pulled out their weapons. Like a dozen arrows, they chased after them. Meng Yingying felt the assassins approaching. She clenched her teeth and said to Chu Tian, "I'll hold them off. Hurry up and run. Don't tease me with just the peak of the 4th rank. Any one of them can kill you in a second." Although Chu Tian was moved, he bitterly smiled and said, "Don't speak nonsense. I'm not." Meng Yingying took out an almost transparent light red pill from her bosom. Her small face showed a determined expression. "I'll eat this pill. It should be able to hold them off for a while." "Crimson Lotus pill? Why are you carrying this?" "This pill has a special commemorative value to me, so I've always kept it by my side." Chu Tian became excited. There really was a way out. He wanted to hug Meng Yingying and kiss her. "Second miss, you are my savior. Give it to me." Chu Tian snatched the Crimson Lotus pill and swallowed it. A burning hot feeling emitted from his dantian and instantly spread through his meridians. There was a slight prickling feeling. Under some kind of strong stimulation, his body began to produce spirit energy faster and faster, making his spirit energy several times stronger. The Crimson Lotus pill still needs some time to fully take effect. Chu Tian picked up Meng Ying, and with a light kick of his legs, he released his powerful elemental energy. Without much effort, he was able to jump several meters away. His body was as light as a swallow. Shadow Swallow Steps. This martial art was not profound, but with his current cultivation, it was the best choice. This kind of martial art could greatly increase his speed. Chu Tian also had the minute subtlety ability. Even in a forest environment, he could still advance at an extremely fast speed. The sinister-looking middle-aged man revealed a look of astonishment. Damn, how did his speed become so fast? Immediately increase your speed. No matter what, we cannot let him escape. Meng Ying was carried in Chu Tian's embrace. Probably due to the effects of the crimson lotus pill, she felt that Chu Tian's body was becoming hotter and hotter, as if there was a flame burning in his meridians. She couldn't help but worry. This kind of pill that forcefully increased his cultivation would definitely cause intense pain. She couldn't do anything but tightly hug Chu Tian, hoping to share some of his burden. The crimson lotus pill's effects were fully displayed within 5 minutes, causing Chu Tian's spirit energy to increase by several folds. From the peak of the 3rd rank, he had instantly jumped to the peak of the 5th rank. This was the limit of the pill's effects. Furthermore, the crimson lotus pill's effects could not be maintained for long. Once the effects were over, it would be replaced by an intense side effect, causing one to feel intense fatigue, almost to the point of being unable to move. No, it wasn't enough. This kind of speed wasn't enough to throw them off. Chu Tian revealed a serious expression. Second young miss, they're coming for me. I've implicated you. Meng Ying stared at Chu Tian's face, but there wasn't much fear in her eyes. Rather, there was a kind of blurriness. She was lying in Chu Tian's embrace, feeling that Chu Tian's heartbeat was fast and filled with power, making her feel a sense of security, like she was in a dream. Meng Ying's face was filled with stubbornness. I'm not afraid. Second young miss. Don't call me second young miss. It sounds strange. Meng Ying's crystal-clear eyes revealed a complex look. Can you just call me Ying? All right. Chu Tian's heart felt warm. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to at least protect the safety of the girl in his embrace. Chu Tian's aura gradually became fierce. Ying, I'm prepared to go all out. Meng Ying nodded her head. Go. You don't need to worry about me. Chu Tian, jump high into the air. Swallow shadow steps. Swallow returns to the nest. Chu Tian stepped on a big tree, and without the slightest inertia, he suddenly bounced back. The black-clothed men saw that they were about to catch up, so they rushed forward at full speed. They did not think that Chu Tian would suddenly counterattack. Ah! A pitiful cry rang out. Chu Tian swept his leg through the air, and a black-clothed man at the 6th level of body refinement died on the spot with his bones and tendons broken. The other black-clothed men were shocked. No one thought that Chu Tian's battle strength would be this terrifying. Chapter 24. When Meng Ying saw the sinister middle-aged man, she immediately recognized him and angrily shouted, Han Song, so it's you. That's right. The middle-aged man was Han Song. After Blackwater Commerce was destroyed and Han Song escaped through the secret passage, he spent a lot of money to bribe a group of assassins to hide in secret, waiting for the chance to take revenge. At this moment, Han Song's eyes, which were as sinister as an old owl's, were brewing with a vicious glint. This brat belongs to me, and the woman belongs to you. I only have one request. Ruthlessly ravage and torture her. Don't let her die too comfortably. The black-clothed man revealed a lewd expression and agreed with a sinister smile. Don't worry, we're very good at this kind of thing. We'll definitely make you satisfied. Seeing this, Meng Ying's small face turned pale, and she secretly prepared herself. Even if she had to commit suicide, she couldn't be captured by the other party. The black-clothed men were all at the 6th level of body refinement. Han Song had even reached the 7th level of body refinement. A person who forcefully used medicine to raise his cultivation, but lacked battle experience and proficiency in martial arts, simply couldn't beat a cultivator of the same level who cultivated normally. What's more, Chu Tian was only at the peak of the 5th level of body refinement. What's more, these black-clothed men were well-trained assassins, not something ordinary cultivators and martial artists could compare to. Could they win? Impossible. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. Han Song's heart was filled with the thrill of revenge. "Ha! You fell into my hands so quickly. You think you can deal with us by using medicine to raise your cultivation? If I don't cut you into 1,000 pieces today, I won't be able to resolve the hatred in my heart." Chu Tian didn't waste any words, because the effect of the medicine was very short. Every minute and second was precious. His legs suddenly kicked off, and he attacked like a meteor. "Old man, let me see what you've got." Was this guy crazy? He actually took the initiative to seek death. "Get out of the way. I'll do it myself." Han Song had cultivated for half his life and could be considered an expert in Tiannan City. How could he be afraid of Chu Tian, who hadn't even grown his hair yet? In his eagerness for revenge, he roared and brazenly faced Chu Tian head-on. His right fist gathered surging magic power. His entire arm emitted a faint metallic luster, and he smashed towards Chu Tian with a sinister smile. This was a martial art of extreme yang. Vajra Fist. Han Song could almost see the scene of Chu Tian's bones breaking and tendons snapping. Die. Chu Tian had already entered the state of minute subtlety. Everything in the world suddenly slowed down. From Han Song gathering his strength to punching, the whole process was clearly imprinted in his mind. Based on the current strength of his body and origin energy, it was impossible for him to face it head-on. Otherwise, he would either die or be crippled. Once the Vajra Fist was used, one's arm would be as hard as iron and the strength would be as great as a dragon. It was a martial art that was both offensive and defensive, but it had a very obvious weakness. Too slow. The pores all over Chu Tian's body spewed out origin energy, and it actually formed a stream of air around his body, causing Chu Tian's forward speed to suddenly increase. Combined with the powerful judgment of minute subtlety, he abruptly dodged Han Song's ferocious fist wind. Damn it! He dodged it. Han Song hurriedly withdrew, and Chu Tian seized this fleeting opportunity. His right arm condensed and compressed surging origin energy, and like a rocket, he heavily smashed onto Han Song's chest. Rushing heaven fist. Han Song's clothes were instantly torn apart. The air pressure that erupted sent him flying, and he fiercely crashed into a large tree. Countless leaves fell down, and the thick tree also snapped. Han Song was sent flying by Chu Tian in one move. Everyone was shocked. A person who relied on medicine to temporarily increase his cultivation. According to reason, it was impossible for him to skillfully display the true strength of a peak 5th rank body refinement cultivator. Even if he really had the strength of a peak 5th rank body refinement cultivator, it was still impossible for him to directly repel Han Song. In between, there was a gap of 2 ranks. Simply monstrous. This was a genius even more terrifying than Nan Gongyan. If he didn't get rid of him today, he wouldn't have another chance in the future. Han Song wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sinisterly laughed. "Your fist technique is not bad, and your speed is very fast, but your strength is too weak. You can't beat me." No matter how amazing his battle strength was, he was still limited by his cultivation. Chu Tian's swift and violent fist was unable to break the protective origin energy of a 7th rank body refinement cultivator. Although Han Song received not a light injury, it wasn't enough to seriously injure him to the point of death. Han Song coldly said, "You originally had a good future, but recklessly stood up for the Meng family. The hatred of killing my son, the hatred of exterminating my family, is absolutely irreconcilable. I will use the cruelest method in the world to torture you. 10 days, 100 days, 1,000 days, I will make you beg for death. I will make you regret being born into this world." "You said too much." Chu Tian's eyes flashed with a trace of ridicule, and with a cold tone, he said one word at a time, "In fact, you're already dead." "You're already dead?" This brat wouldn't be crazy, right? Otherwise, how could he say such words? A full-strength strike only caused a minor injury, nothing more, and he actually dared to say such crazy words. Han Song felt a burst of abnormality, and his two eyes suddenly widened into round circles. He didn't know when, but a talisman had been stuck to his chest. The talisman's array pattern emitted light, which was clearly a sign that it had been activated. From the red lines, it was a fire attribute talisman. When did he stick it on? Not good. Han Song was scared out of his wits, and simply didn't have enough time to throw away the talisman, because he heard Chu Tian's cold voice explode. Like a terrifying death knell, it fiercely rang in Han Song's heart. No! The talisman exploded, and the raging flames rolled up several meters high. Han Song was directly blown away like a piece of paper. Rushing Heaven Fist was a diversionary tactic. The real attack was this talisman technique. There were many auxiliary professions on the continent, such as talisman masters, alchemists, blacksmiths, and so on, all forming their own schools. Most of the auxiliary professions leaned towards the production type, and only talisman masters assisted in battle. The most famous talisman master in Tianan City was Zhang Liqin. It was impossible for Chu Tian not to take any precautions. These past few days, he had specially made several talismans for himself, specifically for self-defense in special circumstances. The talismans that Chu Tian had personally made were much more powerful than those of this era. When activated with the magic power of a peak 5th rank body refinement cultivator, this detonation talisman was enough to kill Han Song in one hit. Han Song fell heavily to the ground. His entire chest had been blown open, and his entire body was still burning with flames. He roared and struggled, but with this kind of injury, even an awakened soul cultivator would die. I'm not willing. At this moment, he suddenly regretted. Why wasn't he content? Why did he make a move against the Meng family? Blackwater commerce was already like the sun in the sky. If they had continued to operate peacefully, how could they have ended up like today? Just a moment ago, he was incomparably arrogant. Now he died with his eyes wide open. The contrast was so big. How could people accept it? This brat's methods were really terrifying. The black-clothed man revealed a cautious expression. Chu Tian felt the cold, killing intent pervading the air, and his eyebrows wrinkled a little. The most troublesome opponent had already been eliminated, but Chu Tian didn't have that many talismans, and he didn't have that much magic power to activate them. The same move could not be used repeatedly. Perhaps a bloody battle of life and death was unavoidable. The Crimson Lotus Pill's effect was roughly 15 minutes. This time was definitely enough, but his chances of victory were only 20 to 30%, and this was still in a direct confrontation. If the assassin held Meng Yingying hostage to threaten him, Chu Tian might not even have a 20% chance of victory. No matter what, rather than sitting and waiting for death, it was better to go all out and fight. Even an old fox like Han Song fell. You brat really do have some methods. But using the talisman technique consumed a lot of your magic power. How will you deal with us next? The black-clothed man slowly surrounded him. I advise you to obediently give up resisting. We will be merciful and give you a chance to commit suicide. As for that woman, after us dozen brothers enjoy ourselves, we will naturally give her a quick death. Chu Tian slowly breathed in and out, adjusting the magic power in his body, letting his body maintain its peak condition. What's with all this nonsense? My life is right here. If you really have the ability, then come and take it. Even when facing an absolute disadvantage, even when facing the threat of death, Chu Tian did not shrink back at all. Meng Yingying was somewhat absent-minded. She believed that with Chu Tian's ability, if he wanted to escape alone, he was completely capable of doing it. But this usually cheeky, frivolous, and lecherous youth at this moment became overbearing, frivolous, and decisive, like a young hero who never knew what fear was blocking in front of her without a second thought. That body was not considered tall, but it was like a tall mountain, blocking the turbulent torrent for her. Chu Tian, you're really so silly. A crystalline teardrop flowed out from the corner of Meng Yingying's eye. Good lad. Attack for me. I don't believe that a mere peak 5th level, he can still deal with our encirclement. The black-clothed men were about to launch an attack. Right at this time, from the left side of the forest, a brutal and bloodthirsty aura suddenly gushed out, accompanied by a low and bloodthirsty roar. Roar! There were magic beasts. Everyone's heart jumped and immediately looked over. A pair of emerald green eyes appeared in the forest, but it was filled with coldness, cruelty, and tyranny. This was impressively a giant black wolf. This wolf was about the height of a person, and its body was extremely large. Its most notable feature was the pair of huge wings on its back. Black-winged wind wolf. For the first time, Chu Tian revealed a look of shock, because an adult black-winged wind wolf generally had the battle strength of a peak 9th level body refinement cultivator. Not to mention these people, even Xiong Tianyin might not be its opponent. Even if the terrifying Nan Gongyun was present, he would still have to experience a bitter battle to defeat this wolf. While the others were in a daze, Chu Tian decisively used swallow shadow steps, and like a gust of wind, he carried Meng Yingying on his shoulder, and with a leap, he jumped into the forest, and in the blink of an eye, he had slipped out 100 meters. Fuck! He ran away. Quickly chase after him. The winged wind wolf's body glowed with a greenish-black spirit energy, and 2 greenish wind blades shot out at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. 2 black-clothed men wanted to chase after Chu Tian, but were cut in half at the waist. This beast was this powerful? Let's not care about that brat first. If we don't kill this wolf, then no one will be able to escape today. The winged wind wolf roared and pounced over like a phantom. With a swipe of its claws, it crushed the head of one of the black-clothed men on the spot. Then it pounced on another black-clothed man and easily tore open his stomach. Kill! A sword stabbed into the winged wind wolf's back, but the result was that it did not even cut through the winged wind wolf's skin. The winged wind wolf's body emitted a large amount of profound runes, and a surging power suddenly rebounded, causing the long sword to instantly break apart. The fragments were like flying knives, all stabbing into the black-clothed man's body. Then, the demon wolf fiercely slammed him 10 meters away. The black-clothed man was completely dumbfounded. We can't beat it. Quickly run. These weak humans attacking it had completely angered the cruel winged wind wolf. How could it let any one of them go? Under the surge of green spirit energy, it became as fast as the wind. Like an arrow that was shot out, it flashed back and forth a few times in the air. The forest was filled with screams and blood, and flesh blossomed everywhere. There was no suspense. The black-clothed men were completely annihilated. The demon wolf began to wantonly enjoy the human flesh and blood. When its stomach was completely full, it used its nose to sniff the forest. There were actually 2 that ran away. The winged wind wolf's temperament was extremely cruel, and it did not have the habit of letting any prey go. It immediately followed the scent and chased. This was a demon beast that was at the peak of the 9th level of body refinement. How could Chu Tian compare to its speed? The winged wind wolf had already eaten its fill and purely chased after its prey with a tyrannical attitude. It did not use its full strength, purposely not catching up, nor did it kill the 2 people. It only occasionally sent out 1 or 2 wind blades to provoke its prey. Its green eyes had a playful look, as if it really enjoyed watching humans flee in a sorry state. This was like seeing a ghost. This damned beast was using me as a toy to play with after dinner. Even if it was against the black-clothed assassins, I would have a 20 to 30% chance of winning. But now, my chance of winning was completely 0. Fuck, why am I so unlucky? Chapter 25. The power of the Crimson Lotus Pill had completely disappeared. A strong sense of exhaustion that could topple mountains and overturn seas made Chu Tian's vision darken, and he almost fainted. Roar! The black-winged wind wolf lost its patience. With a low and brutal roar, cyan magic power condensed around its body, and with a leap like an arrow, a biting cold and terrifying killing intent pervaded the air. Oh no, I can't stop. Chu Tian used all his strength to circulate his magic power, and an incomparably intense pain spread throughout his body like a burning fire. This kind of pain that overdrew the body. Normal people would not be able to endure it. Every meridian had a kind of shattering pain, but along with this pain, a miraculous surge of power came from his almost completely drained body. Under the limit, he had unexpectedly broken through. But Chu Tian was not happy. In front of the black-winged wind wolf, there was not much difference between the third and the fourth rank of body refinement. Life or death was in the blink of an eye. At this time, a pool with a radius of about 20 meters blocked the front, and opposite it was a cave. It was impossible to jump over the pool, and there was no time to take a detour. Chu Tian clenched his teeth and jumped. With a splash, the two fell into the bone-chilling pool water. The black-winged wind wolf followed closely behind and was about to gather its strength to launch a fatal attack. At this time, a roar came from the cave opposite the pool. Hiss, hiss. Some creature was startled. The black-winged wind wolf immediately stopped its movements in fear and slowly took a step back. It arched its back, bared its teeth, and growled. Its two green eyes stared unwaveringly at the cave, as if it was facing a great enemy. A 15-meter-long, blood-colored python slowly drilled out. Its entire body was covered with beautiful patterns, and its blood-red scales were bright and tender. They sparkled under the sunlight, as if they were carved out of rubies. On its ferocious and huge python head, there was a single black horn, making it look majestic. Blood-woven flood python. Chu Tian was soaking in the bone-chilling pool water. When he saw this creature, his face flashed a trace of horror. This was a kind of demon beast that had the opportunity to evolve into a flood dragon. Ordinary blood-woven flood pythons did not have horns. When they grew a single horn, it also meant that they had completed a crucial evolution. Even the weakest of them would have the strength of a human cultivator at the awakened soul realm. The blood-woven flood python's realm was higher than the black-winged wind wolf's, but because it had just completed its transformation, it was in an extremely weak state. Its realm was only at the first layer of the awakened soul realm, but its true battle strength was only at the peak of the 9th layer of body refinement. Two weak humans sandwiched in between two dangerous fierce beasts, life and death hanging by a thread. Meng Yingying's mind went blank. She closed her eyes in despair. It was over. She was really dead. Roar! Hiss, hiss! However, after the wolf and python discovered each other, they ignored the two weak humans at the same time. Instead, they glared at each other and roared at each other in a threatening manner. The way magical beasts grew up was extremely cruel, and their territorial instincts were also very strong. The black-winged wind wolf was a relatively low-level magical beast. Only by devouring the beast cores and flesh of higher-level magical beasts could it hope to evolve further. This abnormally weak, blood-woven flood python, wasn't this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? The blood-woven flood python was an irritable and arrogant creature. When the black-winged wind wolf intruded into its territory, especially after discovering the other party's intentions, it naturally became as furious as thunder. Chu Tian's heart skipped a beat. If these two fellows could fight, perhaps there would be a chance of survival. The problem was that magical beasts were not brainless idiots. This kind of battle strength was similar, and no one had an absolute advantage. It was very difficult to fight. If nothing unexpected happened, the black-winged wind wolf would definitely take the initiative to retreat. This would not do. The opportunity was fleeting. Rather than sitting and waiting for death, it was better to take a risk. Chu Tian suddenly threw out a glyph, instantly activating a level 1 glyph technique water binding. The blood-woven flood python was completely unprepared and was suddenly entangled by 4 pillars of water. Chu Tian, of course, did not expect to injure it, but it was enough to distract the blood-woven flood python. The power of the glyph technique could also affect its mobility. It must be known that in a duel between 2 experts, even the slightest interference or flaw could be taken advantage of by the other party. Chu Tian wanted to create a flaw and let the hesitating black-winged wind wolf see an opportunity. Once the black-winged wind wolf made its move, the blood-woven flood python would inevitably retaliate, and a great battle would be unavoidable. Of course, this was extremely risky. What if the black-winged wind wolf did not seize the opportunity? What if the black-winged wind wolf did not have time to react? What if the blood-woven flood python was enraged and killed the 2 of them first? Although this was a huge gamble, Chu Tian had no other choice. For this reason, he exhausted the last of his strength and immediately sank into the deep pool. Chu Tian. Meng Yingying hurriedly dived into the water to fish him out. The blood-woven flood python was enraged. It straightened its body, and a blood-red energy gathered on top of its head. It was about to turn into a bolt of red lightning and shoot towards the 2. The 2's lives were hanging by a thread, and they were about to be killed. Bang! Bang! 2 powerful green wind blades swept over, fiercely hacking at the blood-woven flood python's body. A large piece of scale was torn off on the spot, and 2 deep wounds were created. Roar! The black-winged wind wolf soared into the air, pouncing with the force of a thunderbolt. The blood-woven flood python roared angrily, breaking free from the weak restraints of the water. 3 or 4 bolts of red lightning shot from its single horn, all of them shooting towards the black-winged wind wolf in midair. The black-winged wind wolf dodged a few, but the last one hit its left wing, causing it to fall from midair. The blood-woven flood python pounced forward. The black-winged wind wolf brazenly met the enemy head-on. Boom! The 2 magical beasts collided heavily. A terrifying magical beast battle was about to begin. Everywhere they passed, the earth was pushed aside and the grass and trees were overturned. The momentum was terrifying, and it made one's heart tremble. Meng Yingying took the opportunity to drag Chu Tian ashore, hiding behind a large moss-covered rock. She panicked and squeezed his chest, forcing Chu Tian to spit out the water in his stomach. "How are you?" Chu Tian's face was pale. He waved his hand, saying, "It's just a side effect, nothing serious. You're really too powerful and quick-witted. At such a critical moment, you instigated a battle between them. They seem to be about the same strength, and will definitely injure both sides. This way, we'll have a chance to escape." Meng Yingying's entire body was drenched. Her thin silk clothes clung tightly to her body, fully outlining her full breasts, her slender waist, and her perfectly round buttocks. Chu Tian smiled bitterly. It's not that easy. The magical beasts were able to survive in the cruel jungle, and they were definitely not impulsive fools. Survival was always the first priority. Evolution and reproduction were all secondary. It was unwise for both sides to injure each other. If it really reached this point, then the weaker side would definitely choose to escape, avoiding serious injury or death. Chu Tian looked up. In the little girl's chest, 2 snow-white jade bunnies were dripping with sparkling water, slowly flowing into the bottomless ravine. It was a strong temptation, making one's blood boil. Chu Tian didn't forget to tease her. "Remember, this time it's because I didn't abandon you, didn't give up, that you could keep your little life. If we're lucky enough to return alive, I won't ask for much. Just give me 100 or 200,000 gold coins. As for repaying me with your body, I'll consider it." "Hey, at this time you're still so bad." Meng Yingying was about to carry Chu Tian on her back. "What should we do? Why don't we take advantage of the fact that they haven't decided a winner, and I'll carry you out of here?" "No." Chu Tian shook his head. "There's not enough time, we can't go far." What should they do? Were they really going to die here? Chu Tian pointed in a direction. "You support me to that side of the forest. Don't ask so many questions. Hurry up. Meng Yingying hurriedly carried Chu Tian on her back, circling around the forest with the fastest speed. This direction was directly facing the blood-woven flood python's cave. At this moment, the two magical beasts were fiercely fighting ahead. You take a paralysis talisman. Chu Tian stuffed the talisman into Meng Yingying's hand. If the black-winged wind wolf wants to escape, you activate the talisman to hold him back. The black-winged wind wolf will definitely escape. Definitely. This is the blood-woven flood python's territory. The blood-woven flood python has no path of retreat, so it will definitely fight to the death. Once the battle reaches a stalemate, the black-winged wind wolf won't fight to the death, so it will definitely want to retreat. If we want to see both sides suffer, then we can't let one of them escape alive. Was this true or false? Could Chu Tian predict the future? Just as Meng Yingying was a little skeptical. After a few minutes of bloody battle, the black-winged wind wolf really began to want to retreat. It shot a few wind blades at the blood-woven flood python, then turned around and fled in the opposite direction. Now, quickly, the talisman was activated, the talisman burned, and an unremarkable gray light beam shot out. The black-winged wind wolf's reaction speed was very fast, and it immediately dodged. But it was still hit in the hind leg, and it instantly lost its sense of direction, allowing the blood-woven flood python to catch up. Boom! The python's long body directly entangled the giant wolf, and the black-winged wind wolf, not to be outdone, retaliated with its teeth. The two vicious beasts tangled together, and the fierce battle began anew, falling into a stalemate. Hide! The two hid in the bushes for about 5 or 6 minutes, the angry roars and roars of the two magical beasts incessantly ringing in their ears. Suddenly, there was no more movement. Was the battle over? Meng Yingying was extremely nervous, and she cautiously stretched out her head. The ground was covered in blood and broken scales. The intensity of the battle could be imagined. The two magical beasts were covered in cuts and bruises, lying on the ground. The blood-woven flood python was tightly entangled in the black-winged wind wolf's body, almost crushing all of the giant wolf's bones. The black-winged wind wolf used its teeth to tear apart the python's body, even dragging out all of its internal organs. The two magical beasts just lay there motionless. Meng Yingying's eyes slowly widened. No way. Mutual destruction. After a few minutes, the two magical beasts still did not move. They really perished together. Meng Yingying grabbed Chu Tian's arm and shouted, "Wow. These two fellows are dead. I am completely safe." Meng Yingying's admiration for Chu Tian immediately rose to the level of worship. Such a dangerous situation. Such a dangerous segment. Every minute, every second, his life was hanging by a thread, and Chu Tian was very calm from beginning to end. He accurately predicted every possibility, and finally found a chance of survival from the cracks. Who could do it? Chu Tian did it. Meng Yingying quickly said, "Let's leave." Chu Tian bluntly knocked Meng Yingying's head. "Stupid. If you leave like this, how can you face me? There's no time to take these materials. At least dig out the beast cores." That's right. He was so happy that he almost forgot. The beast cores were the source of a magical beast's power, and were a very precious material. The beast cores of these two magical beasts, just how valuable would they be? Meng Yingying quickly took action. The surface of the two beast cores were covered with complex patterns, and they were filled with strong fluctuations of spirit energy. The blood-woven flood python's beast core was bright red like blood, and the energy was even purer. It faintly emitted a flood python's roar, and it was filled with a kind of terrifying might. Beast soul. Beast soul was a very precious thing. This kind of thing could only be condensed from the beast cores of level 2 and above demon beasts. After a demon beast died, it would take at most a week for the beast core to dissipate, turning it into a normal beast core. So it was not easy to preserve, and the market price was frighteningly high. Chu Tian nodded his head in satisfaction. To him, this beast soul had a special use. "I can't walk right now. quickly help me to the cave in front to rest." Chu Tian really did not know how to write the word polite. He took the initiative to hug Meng Yingying's shoulder, and most of his body leaned on her. This scoundrel! Meng Yingying's little face turned red, and she secretly spat. "Since you're a patient, I'll let you take advantage of me this time." She supported Chu Tian, and the two slowly walked into the cave. The inside was filled with a fishy smell. The ground was filled with remains, and there were many broken armors and weapons. At this time, a strange spring appeared in front of them. The stones around the mouth of the spring were all bright red, and the spring water was also a bright red liquid like blood. There were some faint bubbles on the surface, but there was a refreshing aura that filled the air, making the air in the cave much better. More than 10 precious herbs were scattered around the spring. 100-year bloodling, 100-year dragon vein ginseng, 100-year amethyst bamboo. Meng Yingying couldn't contain her joy. "My God, there are so many elixirs." Among these herbs, Meng Yingying could only recognize 1 or 2, but they were all priceless treasures. In the entire Tiannan city's medicine market, it would be hard to find even one. These were treasures that could only be found by luck. From the quality of these herbs, they were at least 200 or 300 years old, and their medicinal strength was extremely strong. Each herb could at least increase one's cultivation by several years. One who survives a great disaster is bound to have good fortune. They had earned big. This time they had really earned big. Meng Yingying grabbed Chu Tian and excitedly shouted, "Do you see? Do you see? There are all kinds of treasures in here." Chu Tian turned a blind eye to the elixirs. He walked step by step to the side of the blood spring. "I'm really lucky." Chu Tian's eyes became hot. "This is the spirit spring of life." Chapter 26. Forests, grasslands, these places flourished with life, ranging from dozens of li to thousands of li. The life within the entire range, due to some special circumstances, would give birth to a spirit spring. This was the spring of life. The spirit spring of life was a gift from nature. It was a natural healing station. The spring water did not need to be processed and could be used to heal, detoxify, and relieve fatigue. When a magical beast occupied the spirit spring of life, no matter how serious its injuries were, as long as it was still breathing, it could run to the spirit spring and soak in it, and its injuries would quickly recover. Long-term soaking in the hot spring could even strengthen one's physique. This was the magical effect of the spirit spring of life. Humans controlled the spirit spring of life and used the spring water as a material to refine medicines. The effects of the restorative medicines refined could often be greatly increased. The energy of this spirit spring of life was not considered strong in Chu Tian's eyes. But in a place like Tiannan City, it was a precious resource that would make all the major powers fight over it. "Why is the water red? It's so creepy." Meng Yingying was fascinated by the dozens of medicinal herbs, so she did not pay much attention to the strange spring water. The blood-woven flood python has been entrenched in this cave for decades, and every time it is heavily injured, it uses the spring water to heal. In addition, every time it molts, it is also carried out in the spring. The spring water contains a large amount of the blood-woven flood python's blood essence. Meng Yingying found several sets of red python skin in the water. Chu Tian was right. That magical beast really did seem to be cultivating inside. Chu Tian began to take off his pants. Meng Yingying covered her eyes in fright. "Damn rogue. What are you doing? Soaking in the hot spring. What kind of occasion is this? You're still soaking in the hot spring." This spring not only has healing properties, but it also contains enough flood dragon blood to effectively improve one's physique, cleanse the marrow, and enhance one's aptitude. With such a poor aptitude, you'll become better after a bath. "Hey, stop. You shameless thing. How can you take off your clothes in front of a girl? Don't you feel ashamed?" Chu Tian seriously said, "That's not right. Humans are originally naked in this world. I'm just returning to my natural state, returning to my original state. What's there to be ashamed of?" What kind of bullsh asterisk T logic was that? Meng Yingying felt that she was about to explode from anger. Chu Tian continued to speak as he took off his clothes. Your consciousness is not good. Your mind is filled with filthy and erotic people. So you feel ashamed. Look at me, such a pure young man. Even if you strip naked and stand in front of me, I won't even bat an eyelid. You can try if you don't believe me. Meng Yingying was furious. You're twisting words and forcing logic. What a scoundrel. You see, we've had a really difficult day. We finally have a good chance to relax. This spring is big enough. Why don't we soak in the hot spring together? We can rub each other's backs and massage each other. A pure and beautiful virgin is about to strip. Why are you so worldly? Bah, in your dreams. I don't want to take advantage of a bad person like you. Meng Yingying was very tempted by the hot spring's ability to improve one's physique, but this guy's words were too vulgar. You're a virgin? I'm still a virgin. Besides, only a ghost would believe you. You're so bad that I don't know how many girls you've cheated. Quickly soak. I'll come back after you're done. The little girl blushed and ran away in a sorry state. Sigh, this girl can't let go. I still need to enlighten her. Chu Tian didn't care at all. He quickly took off his clothes and lay down in it. Cool. That slightly stinging sensation spread throughout his entire body. The rich life energy in the spring was rapidly repairing his injuries, allowing his exhausted body to quickly recover. From an extremely exhausted state, he quickly recovered to his peak state. The entire process was incomparably comfortable. The flood dragon blood also penetrated into his body bit by bit and began to improve his physique. His body strength increased. His elemental energy strength increased. The effect was almost instantaneous. This body's talent was not high, but Chu Tian didn't care much. Talent was not static. It could be improved through various methods, such as this spring of life filled with flood dragon blood. After soaking for about an hour, his elemental energy was replenished, his physical strength was completely restored, and his strength reached the peak of the 4th level. Chu Tian's bones, meridians, and flesh were all strengthened by the flood dragon blood. It could be said that he had been reborn. Breakthrough. Another breakthrough. In a short 2 hours, Chu Tian had gained 2 significant improvements in a row. Any one of the elixirs here could increase his cultivation, easily reaching the 5th level of body refinement. At that time, wouldn't he be able to beat that bastard Yihan like playing around? Yingying, it's your turn. Chu Tian didn't have much effect soaking anymore, so he called Meng Yingying in. Meng Yingying was a bit shy as she walked to the side of the spirit spring. She suddenly turned around and fiercely waved her little fist, saying in a threatening tone, "You listen to me when I soak. If you dare peek, I'll dig out your eyes." A woman's heart was the most poisonous. Chu Tian helplessly left. When she saw Chu Tian resentfully leave, Meng Yingying felt a bit apologetic in her heart. Was her attitude a bit too fierce? She scratched her head in distress, but there was no other way. This guy was a typical example of a die shop. If she didn't be fierce to him, he might really do something bad. Meng Yingying took off her clothes, and her attractive body slowly walked into the warm spring. This spring water was what Chu Tian had just soaked in. Thinking of this, her heart suddenly jumped up and down like a little deer running around, a bit shy, a bit embarrassed, and also a bit excited. Annoying. How could I think of this kind of thing? Meng Yingying quickly eliminated the distracting thoughts in her head and began to relax her body, fully experiencing the process. That guy was usually serious, but the words he said were always reliable. The spring of life really had an incredible power. The flood dragon blood essence contained in it was definitely a good medicine to improve one's physique. The reason why the surrounding dozens of elixirs were precious was that they could improve one's cultivation. This spirit spring could directly improve one's physique. In a sense, the help of the spirit spring to Meng Yingying couldn't be compared to these elixirs added together. What's more, the spirit spring of life itself also had the effect of improving one's strength. Meng Yingying's strength was originally at the peak of the 4th level. When a large amount of flood dragon blood containing the essence of the power, under the effect of the spirit spring of life, poured into her body, cleansed her meridians, and strengthened her meridians, her strength smoothly broke through to the 5th level. Another breakthrough. It was like a dream. Meng Yingying was so excited that she was about to burst into tears. But at this moment, Meng Yingying suddenly felt that there was an icy cold thing in the water, swimming past her thigh. She was shocked and looked down, and her eyes suddenly widened. Wow, help! There's a monster! Chu Tian immediately rushed in. What's the situation? In the dark cave, the light was not very bright. A beautiful and pretty girl stood up from the spring water. Her skin was delicate and creamy. Her shoulders were soft and smooth like silk, and most of her full breasts were covered by her wet hair. However, one could faintly see the towering peaks and bottomless ravines. The two of them looked at each other. Ah, Ro! The girl let out a scream of shame and indignation. 10 minutes later, Chu Tian came out carrying a red baby python. It was about 2 fingers thick and less than 2 meters long, but its whole head was smashed flat. The thing that Meng Yingying encountered in the spirit spring was a baby python. The culprit has been executed. How could you kill it? Probably because she had soaked in the spirit spring. Meng Yingying's skin became whiter and smoother. Her cheeks were still red, and her eyes were somewhat evasive. She muttered, "This is a very good baby demon beast. When it grows up, it will at least reach the 9th body refinement layer. Killing it is too much of a pity." Chu Tian's face was fierce as he said, "Tisich, not to mention a blood mosquito python. Even if it was a real flood dragon, if it dared to peek at our Miss Yingying bathing, then it deserved to have its head smashed. But speaking of which, this guy has probably been soaking in the spring since it was born. Using it to make snake soup will definitely be very nourishing." Meng Yingying stared at him. "Then my body was seen by you, but I didn't see you smash your own head. How can this be the same? I rushed in to save someone. My heart is pure. Heaven and earth can be my witness. Besides, this is the first time I've seen a girl bathing in my life. Because of you, even my clean reputation was ruined. It's fine if you don't compensate for the loss of my reputation, but you can't make a false accusation." The little girl's eyes were filled with anger. "So you're saying that the one who suffered a loss is you? It's fine. Suffering a loss is a blessing. I'm already used to it." Chu Tian saw the little girl's angry expression and quickly changed his words. "Don't be so excited. I didn't see your entire body. I only saw your upper body. Your body is not bad. Keep up the good work." "Wah, I'm so angry. I'll fight it out with you." Meng Yingying was like an angry cub as she fiercely threw herself at Chu Tian. She used her claws to fiercely scratch his face a few times. Chu Tian repeatedly begged for mercy. The two of them came to an agreement. Meng Yingying had a fierce expression as she threatened, "What just happened? Only you and I know. If you dare tell anyone, I'll fight it out with you." Chu Tian touched his handsome face that was scratched and sighed, "AI, my face is ruined." Meng Yingying covered her mouth and laughed. She proudly raised her head. "Humph, it's good that you know how powerful I am. Let's see if you still dare to act like you're innocent next time. All right, let's pick all the elixirs and hurry home. We've been missing for half a day. Sister must be very worried." Chu Tian obediently went to pick the elixirs. Meng Yingying unconsciously puffed out her chest. She had always felt that being too big was a burden and often prayed in her heart that it would not continue to grow. But now it was different. She suddenly felt very proud and happy. Did Chu Tian like this type? But compared to Sister, there was still a gap. Although the repeated encounters this time were very dangerous, the harvest was quite plentiful. These medicinal ingredients were worth tens of thousands of gold coins. It was a pity that they could not take away the black-winged wind wolf and blood-woven flood python's corpses. Otherwise, those materials would also be worth tens of thousands of gold coins. Chapter 27. Tiannin City. Several strange beast carriages were parked in front of the Meng family's gate. There was a luxurious beast carriage with a flag with a dragon eagle on it. Meng Yingying carefully stared at the dragon hawk flag for a while. This is the symbol of Central State Academy. Chu Tian curiously asked, "What is Central State Academy? You don't even know this? What a country bumpkin." Meng Yingying did not let go of any chance to look down on Chu Tian. Central State Academy is the largest academy in Central State, and the requirements for enrolling students are extremely harsh. Up until now, there are only 20,000 of them. Among them, there are many experts, and their statuses are extremely respected. Students and guilds were very similar in some aspects. They were semi-official organizations established with the support of the kingdom. Every year, the treasury would allocate funds to support their development. Of course, it was impossible for the kingdom to give unconditionally. These organizations needed to create corresponding value. The major guilds created the value of academic research. For example, the Pharmacist Guild would research all kinds of potion recipes every year, and the Talisman Guild would invent all kinds of new talismans every year, etc., increasing the soft power of the kingdom. The various universities focused on the cultivation of martial arts talents. Every year, they would import a large number of geniuses into the kingdom's military and political system, especially to cultivate warriors with extraordinary strength, thereby increasing the kingdom's hard power. One was civil and the other was military. They complemented each other. A group of strange yet familiar faces came to the Meng family. Sixth aunt, fourth uncle, cousin-in-law, aunt, they were all relatives. Meng Yingying's return caught everyone's attention. It's Meng Yingying. I wonder what her cultivation level is. I haven't seen her for a few years. She's getting prettier and prettier. What's the use of being good-looking? He's just a piece of trash. He's just relying on his sister. Otherwise, how could he have his current status? You're right. If she didn't have Meng Qingwu to support her, would she still be able to live a dignified life? I'm afraid she would have been married off to someone else as a concubine. Exactly. Everyone was discussing in private. He didn't hide the mockery and disdain in his eyes. This group of relatives usually didn't interact with each other. Why were they all here now? Meng Yingying was full of doubts and decided to ask her sister. The atmosphere didn't seem right. Who cares? If it doesn't concern me, I'll just ignore it. Chu Tian changed his clothes and went to rest. His but hadn't even warmed up yet. Dang. A series of clear bell chimes rang out. This was the signal to gather everyone. Is it time for dinner? Chu Tian hurriedly ran over. In the hall, there was a huge round table, and about 20 to 30 people were sitting there. All of them had serious expressions on their faces. Where did this slave come from? Stop. A middle-aged man with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks stopped Chu Tian. His triangular eyes shot out a look of disdain as he sized up Chu Tian's crude attire. In a sharp and ear-piercing voice, he said, "Is this a place that someone of your status can enter? Get lost." Chu Tian didn't get angry. He laughed and said, "Who do you think you are to have a right to stop me? You don't even know who I am, and you dare to come here to be a slave?" The monkey-like middle-aged man flew into a rage. "I am a shareholder of Nanyun Commerce, the second uncle of Meng Qingwu. How dare a servant speak to me like this? It was simply unforgivable. Come, slap yourself 100 times." The middle-aged man deliberately scolded the servant in front of Meng Qingwu. He didn't really want to make things difficult for Chu Tian. Most likely, he wanted to give Meng Qingwu a show of strength. Unfortunately, this guy's luck wasn't too good. Pa! A resounding slap. This so-called second uncle was directly flipped over. Chu Tian was still smiling a moment ago, but in the blink of an eye, he turned the tables and stepped on his second uncle. "Who the fuck do you think you are? Don't say a vulgar man like you." If Meng Qingwu dared to speak to me like this, I would have also spanked her on the spot. You actually hit me." The second uncle's face was swollen to the size of a steamed bun. He widened his eyes in horror and spat out several broken teeth. He hurriedly asked for help. "This dog slave is crazy. Big brother, save me." Chu Tian smiled embarrassedly. "There's something wrong with this arm of mine. It's born with a conditioned reflex. Whenever I meet a pretentious person like you, it's hard to suppress the arc of reflex arc. I'm really sorry. Oh no, it's out of control again. Pa! Another slap. Chu Tian didn't show any mercy. The second uncle fainted. How dare you? A skinny middle-aged man with a mustache slammed the table and stood up. He looked angrily at Meng Qingwu. Meng Qingwu, is this how you discipline your servants? A young man dressed in white stood up. His handsome face had a trace of a smile. Father, don't be angry. Cousin is a woman, and she's in charge of the Chamber of Commerce. It's inevitable that she can't control some evil servants. It's better not to fuss over such a small matter. The middle-aged man snorted, you only know how to speak up for her. Look at what the Chamber of Commerce has become. Cousin can't manage it well. We'll manage it on her behalf. The handsome young man dressed in white, Zhao Yi, cast a glance at Chu Tian and coldly said, "What are you guys still looking at? Immediately drag this evil servant away, break his legs, abolish his cultivation, and expel him from the Meng family." You guys also stop before going too far. Meng Qingwu shouted. Who is the president here? The Zhao father and son looked at each other in dismay. A relative sternly said, Good, Meng Qingwu. Your family is being insulted, yet you're openly siding with an arrogant foreign servant. Acting so tyrannically, it's no wonder that Southern Cloud Commerce has fallen to such a state. Meng Qingwu lightly said, How I manage it is my own business. Chu Tian scratched his head. I'm sorry, did I come to the wrong place? Then I'll leave. Chu Tian, you've come to the right place. Come and sit here. Meng Qingwu glared at him. Can't you see that I'm in trouble? Not only did you not come to help me, but you also want to run away. You have no sense of loyalty. This person is the Chu Tian who caused a lot of trouble in Tianan City. Everyone else revealed a strange expression. Chu Tian directly stepped over his second uncle and swaggered to a seat next to Meng Qingwu. He crossed his legs and listened to Meng Qingwu's introduction. The middle-aged man with a mustache was called Zhao Chonghe, Meng Qingwu's big uncle. The handsome young man dressed in white was her big cousin. This man dressed in simple and crude clothes, dressed like a servant, was actually sitting together with Meng Qingwu. The eyes of the young man dressed in white, Zhao Yi, flashed a trace of jealousy and viciousness. Zhao Chong, he took the initiative to speak first. Meng Qingwu, the entire Southern Cloud Commerce is under your control. What's the result? You stubbornly went ahead with the layout of the pharmaceutical industry, causing the commerce to suffer a huge setback and almost fall into a debt crisis. What Zhao Chong he said is right. 6 years ago, we invested in the crucial moment and protected the commerce from collapse. Is this how you repay us? You have betrayed everyone's trust. You have let us down. You must take responsibility for this. Southern Cloud Commerce's losses are all your fault. Meng Qingwu's eyebrows wrinkled. Nanyin Commerce's recent affairs. I will write a detailed report for you to look over. This matter is a bit complicated. Don't say any more. We are not here to see you make excuses. The commerce has been defeated to this extent. I don't think it can continue. It's better to split up as soon as possible. Our demands are not high. You can split up the Talisman Workshop and let us split it evenly. These relatives and shareholders were clamoring to split up the commerce. The foundation of Southern Cloud Commerce was making talismans. They wanted Meng Qingwu to take out the talisman factory. This was practically digging out the lifeline of the commerce. Meng Qingwu's face became more and more unsightly. She suppressed her anger and coldly said, Mom and Dad just had an accident, and you used ridiculous excuses to ask for money. In order to maintain the overall situation, I had to admit that the money could not be verified and let it become the capital of Southern Cloud Commerce. In the past 6 years, have I given less than a copper coin to Southern Cloud Commerce's dividends? You did not pay a single penny, yet you are not satisfied. Now that the commerce is in a bit of turmoil, one by one you want to split up, don't you feel a little ashamed? A sharp voice sounded. Facts have proven that Meng Qingwu, you do not have the ability to manage the commerce. Another voice followed. That's right. In your hands, Sooner or later, the commerce will go bankrupt. I propose to let Zhao Chong, he be the president of Southern Cloud Commerce. Agree. I also agree. We can't let her continue to be the president. We all have shares in the commerce. She lost our money. Everyone. Zhao Chong, he hurriedly stood up and comforted everyone. Don't be impatient. Although Meng Qingwu did not have any great achievements in the past 6 years, before this incident, she did not make any big mistakes. Does everyone agree with this? No achievements in itself is a mistake. Why should a mediocre person be the president? Zhao Chong, he sighed. I can understand everyone's feelings. Southern Cloud Commerce has been struggling for so many years. Everyone has feelings for it and can't bear to see it decline day by day. But Southern Cloud Commerce was founded by Meng Qingwu's father. How can I, as her uncle, have the heart to replace it? Ridiculous. You also know that Southern Cloud Commerce was founded by my father? Meng Qingwu was not in a hurry to speak because she knew her uncle very well. She knew that behind these hypocritical polite words was the real intention. Zhao Chong, he lightly said, a woman doing business without a backer will inevitably suffer losses. You're not young anymore. It is time to find someone to marry. Meng Qingwu coldly said, I have no such thoughts. Of course, Qingwu's appearance and talent are top-notch. Naturally, it will not be easy to marry an equally outstanding man. But uncle will make the decision for you. Zhao Chong, he waved his hand. You marry Qingwu? Cough. Chu Tian was directly choked by this sentence. Zhao Yi's eyes flashed a hint of joy. Father, please rest assured, I will take care of my cousin for a lifetime. Meng Qingwu angrily stood up. Why? Because I am your uncle. Because is a student of Zhongzhou College. Isn't that enough? Zhao Chong, he burst into a hearty laughter. Men and women should get married. Uncle, arranging a good marriage is also for your own good. The summit is about to begin. Southern Cloud Commerce does not even have a decent person. It can attend the summit for you. Meng Qingwu gloomily said, my sister is still young. I will not leave her. Zhao Chong, he seemed to have guessed that Meng Qingwu would say this. Meng Yingying is also 16 years old. She could be Er's concubine. You two sisters will serve one husband, so there is no need to separate. You also know that she has no ability. This arrangement is also good for her. Sisters will marry big cousin together? What the F***CK is this? Chu Tian could not listen anymore. Damn. You guys are making me sick. Chapter 28. First, Uncle tried every possible way to embezzle his niece's property, but now he even forced his two nieces to marry his own son? What kind of brain circuit did he come up with this kind of strange idea? This cousin is not simple either. He married both of his cousins at the same time and still acted so at ease. I didn't think there would be someone more shameless than me in this world. Shut up. What qualifications do you have to interfere with our family's private affairs? Zhao Yi coveted his two beautiful cousins and wanted to use the Chamber of Commerce's troubles to force them to marry him. Who knew he would encounter Chu Tian, a thorn in his side? You are just a waste who lives by relying on your master's whims. Chu Tian smiled awkwardly. Let's not talk about anything else. At least I know shame, unlike some animals in human clothing. Zhao Yi's eyes flashed a hint of killing intent. Once a slave, always a slave. Even if I wanted to kill you, it would be as easy as crushing an ant. Do you really think that relying on my cousin's kindness, you can really be lawless? Chu Tian narrowed his eyes. His eyes flashed with a sharp light. Those who are familiar with Chu Tian will know that when Chu Tian shows this expression, he is often at his most dangerous. Meng Qingwu's patience reached its limit. Zhao Yi, you've gone too far, Zhao Chong has said to his son. Why do you have to argue with a servant? Don't you think it's beneath your status? Sit down and talk business. No need to talk anymore. Meng Qingwu said in a very firm tone. I will never agree to this absurd thing. Today's meeting is over. Please go back. Zhao Chong's attitude became tough. For the development of Nanyun Chamber of Commerce, and more importantly for your sister's future, is your best choice. We are not here to discuss with you. Your opposition is useless. Zhao Changhe is right. Nanyun Chamber of Commerce's recent performance has disappointed us. Reunite with the Zhao family, or hand over the Chamber of Commerce. Meng Qingwu clenched her fists. The anger on her face had accumulated to the extreme. Zhao Changhe turned a blind eye to it and said in an irresistible tone, "Here, prepare well. This matter must be done as soon as possible." "Thank you, father." Zhao, he couldn't help but say, "I will make the wedding beautiful and let Qingwu marry in a glorious way." No one here respected Meng Qingwu's opinion. From the beginning to the end, there was no room for discussion. You don't agree? All right, let's all withdraw our investment together. You could just call out the Talisman Workshop. Who doesn't know that this Talisman Workshop is the lifeblood of Nanyun commerce? Who doesn't know that you, Meng Qingwu, value your parents' business? Meng Qingwu was so angry that tears welled up in her eyes. She was on the verge of breaking down. Fortunately, she didn't ask her younger sister to come. Otherwise, with her younger sister's personality, she would have long lost control. She looked at Chu Tian with a pleading gaze. She couldn't handle the current situation. This guy had a lot of bad ideas. Could he help solve this problem? Chu Tian got the authorization from her eyes. In that case, he won't be polite. Chu Tian directly stood up and roared, "All of you, get out of here!" Hiss! Meng Qingwu was stunned. Everyone was like a duck being strangled by the neck. In an instant, they were all silent. A servant who didn't know anything dared to use this kind of tone to talk to them. A relative angrily stood up. Chu Tian violently slapped him. The relative didn't even have time to speak. His entire jaw was dislocated. He screamed and fell to the ground. Chu Tian followed up with another kick, sending him flying a few meters away. Hitting people? How dare he hit people? Due to the loss of the pharmaceutical market, Nanyun commerce fell into a debt crisis. These people took advantage of the fact that Nanyun commerce could not come up with the money, so they came to force an abdication. Chu Tian moved his palms. Don't these bastards want a talisman workshop? You just give it to them. In short, make this bunch of trash scram. Bold, evil slave, you dare to provoke the relationship between the surface and the family, creating conflict and division within the family. You simply deserve to die. Zhao, he stood up without thinking. Father, I will cripple him. Zhao Chang, he did not stop him. He felt it was necessary to give Meng Qingwu a taste of his power. He coldly said, "Cripple? Why keep this kind of person? Kill him." Meng Qingwu anxiously said, "Don't you dare. Cousin, you are really muddle-headed. I am infatuated with you, but you don't know how to cherish it. This fierce slave has done many evil deeds, but you protect him in every possible way. If this guy stays in the family, sooner or later he will be a scourge. For you, for the family, today, I must kill him. Die, you thief." Zhao, he raised his right leg high. His magic power condensed into a sharp and heavy force. Like a huge axe, he fiercely chopped towards Chu Tian's head. This all-out attack could be said to be a real killing intent. If Chu Tian was hit directly, he would almost certainly die. Weak, Chu Tian raised his right arm and punched, soaring fist. His right fist shot out like a rocket. The two forces collided violently, setting off a gust of wind in the hall. Only the sound of bones breaking could be heard, followed by a shrill scream. A dash. Zhao, he landed heavily on the ground. His right leg was twisted in a weird way. The bones in his leg had been shattered by a single punch. My leg, just a mere fifth rank of body refinement. Yet you're acting like you're invincible. Chu Tian not only had an advantage in skills and martial arts, but also because he had soaked in the spirit spring and tempered his body with flood dragon blood. His body strength had been greatly improved. Although his cultivation level was slightly lower, how could this kind of embroidered pillow compare to him? A 16 or 17-year-old youth had broken the legs of a Central State Academy student with a single punch. The relatives all revealed looks of terror. Who was the real trash here? If Central State Academy is filled with trash like you, then it would be better for it to close down earlier. Chu Tian lifted Zhao into the air and slapped him 5 or 6 times. Blood splattered and broken teeth littered the ground. Didn't you want to kill me? I'll cripple you first. Zhao, he was even more horrified. Stop. Zhao Chong, he was even more enraged. Bastard, how dare you? Chu Tian's palm landed on Zhao Yi's abdomen. Zhao Yi's magic power completely dissipated. Once his magic power dissipated, his cultivation became empty. From then on, he became an ordinary person. Zhao, he was crippled. He was so ruthless and decisive, crippling him just like that, showing no mercy. Meng Qingwu did not think of this. No one could have thought of this. Although the Zhao family was not a famous family, they still had a bit of influence in the main city of the central province. Although Zhao Yi was a collateral descendant, Chu Tian had directly crippled him. If this news spread back to the central province, it would definitely anger the entire Zhao family. Nanyun Commerce wanted to completely break off relations with the Zhao family. You dare cripple my son? Zhao Chong, he was shocked and angry. His two fists suddenly came forward. I will kill you. Chu Tian sneered. You? Get lost. One kick. Only one kick. Zhao Chong, he fell a few feet away. Zhao Chong's cultivation was slightly higher than Zhao Yi's, but he was only at the peak of the 5th stage. As long as he did not reach the 6th stage, Chu Tian did not put him in his eyes. Chu Tian arrogantly glanced at the crowd. Everyone felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. It was as if standing in front of them was not a teenager, but a terrifying demon king whose hands were stained with blood. Aren't you all very arrogant? Don't you all want to kill me? I'm here seeking death. Why don't you grant me death? Grant me death? How could he say such words? This guy was really frivolous. Everyone was completely stunned. This teenager was so terrifying. Meng Qingwu's delicate body trembled. She did not know whether she was happy or sad. What Chu Tian did was something she did not want to do, but she wanted to do it. The Zhao family was her mother's family. She did not want to completely break with the Zhao family, but Zhao Chong, he really went too far. When she looked at Chu Tian's domineering figure, when she looked at Chu Tian's frivolous side profile, her eyes showed a trace of confusion, but it was immediately replaced by unprecedented firmness. Chu Tian, thank you. Meng Qingwu shed a crystal tear. Zhao Chong's face was pale, and his voice was full of tears as he scolded. Meng Qingwu, you heartless and unscrupulous thing. I followed your parents to establish Nanyun Commerce and made great contributions to it. Now that your wings have grown, you actually treat us like this. You are a heartless, unjust, unfilial, and disloyal animal. Heartless, unjust, unfilial, and disloyal? Meng Qingwu smiled sadly. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of anger. Since it had come to this, she would completely shed all pretense of cordiality. I have a few questions that I want to ask you. Zhao Chong, he was stunned. Meng Qingwu asked in an almost cold tone, 6 years ago, when my parents' caravan was transporting a batch of extremely confidential goods, the route of the caravan was not known to outsiders, but they were killed halfway. The whole caravan was wiped out. How did you survive? Zhao Chong, he roared hoarsely. Don't try to mislead others. It was a magical beast attack. Magical beast attack? That's the story you brought back, and it was because of her testimony that people finally believed it. But what is the truth? You know it better than anyone. You betrayed my parents. You sold the route information to the Ye family, right? What? Zhao Chong, he was shocked. She already knew it. In other words, Meng Qingwu may have suspected him from the beginning, but he did not expect that she had been hiding it for so many years. This woman was so scheming. Meng Qingwu had always been suspicious, but there was no evidence. Now seeing Zhao Chong's reaction, she could almost conclude that her guess was not wrong at all. Since then, Nanyun Chamber of Commerce has been in constant turmoil. Talisman makers jumped ship, material merchants made things difficult, shops were harassed, factories were destroyed. At this time, you brought a group of people to divide the family property, demanded shares of the Chamber of Commerce, and tried to completely crush Nanyun Chamber of Commerce. Is this your so-called benevolence, righteousness, loyalty, and filial piety? Zhao Chonghe, you don't deserve it. Zhao Chonghe's face turned green and white. You dare to frame me? This is the contract of the Talisman Workshop. I can give it to you. Only one condition. From now on, we have no relationship. Meng Qingwu threw a contract on the ground. A relative quickly picked it up to check. Good. Meng Qingwu. Just you wait. Let's go. Meng Qingwu was really willing to hand over the Talisman Workshop. The talisman business was the foundation of Nanyun Chamber of Commerce. But since it was like this, since they had completely fallen out, it was better to reduce it. These people were all profit-oriented people. They didn't care about the so-called family ties. Zhao Chong, he was unreliable, so it was better to take the existing benefits and quickly dissolve the family. Chu Tian shouted, "Wait!" Everyone looked at each other. Their eyes revealed a trace of fear. Chu Tian revealed a fiendish grin. Could it be that you don't understand human language? I told you to get out. Listen carefully, get out. You're going too far. Everyone's face was ashen. When you insult others, why don't you feel like you're going too far? Chu Tian coldly said, I'll count to 3. Whoever doesn't get out, I'll make sure they never stand up again. 1, 2. I'll get out. We'll get out. Including Zhao Chonghe and his son, everyone was scared to the ground and began to roll out of the door. Chu Tian was too scary. He didn't even blink when he crippled Zhao Yi. Now that he could say such words, then he must be able to do it. Meng Qingwu looked at the domineering group of people, but now obediently rolled out of the hall like dogs. Her heart suddenly surged, and at the same time, she was filled with emotion. I almost have nothing left. Chu Tian faintly smiled. What are you afraid of? I'm enough. Meng Qingwu heard these somewhat ambiguous words. Her nose turned sour and quickly turned away. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.